Good morning, Raptor Freaks. Lexi Out's here, and it's Sunday morning, and it's All-Star Sunday. All-Star Game Sunday. Wow! Yeah! Last night was All-Star Saturday. Wow! Yeah! I am here to react to All-Star Saturday. That is what we're doing today on the stream. Gonna go through the regular motions of the Instagram stories and the Canadian goods, straight goods and Canadian goods and classic card, all that stuff. It's a light stream. I mean, if it's gonna be a light All-Star weekend, it's gonna be a light stream. It's just how it is. Yeah. Man, I don't know what he can do to fix this thing, man. This thing is just it's bad. That dunk competition was the worst dunk competition I've ever seen in the history of the NBA. It really was. Like these guys don't care. The dunks are stupid. The dunks aren't interesting. The dunks have all been done. The way you can do the dunk competition is to pay homage to the great dunks of the past and do them perfectly. If you got out there and you did Vince Carter dunks, but you did them, executed them perfectly, it would, in some ways that works. When all the dunks have been done, it's about doing the dunks to perfection. Not this gangly, crazy, run all around, slop something together like you didn't prepare for this dunk contest at all kind of bullshit last night. Like, seriously. First of all, I knew Jackson Hayes was going to look stupid because the man's so lanky and long. None of his dunks are going to be that impressive. They're impressive in the game because he could do between the legs dunk during the game. That's impressive, but not in a dunk competition when there's nothing there and he's just running and he's just spinning around and doing stupid shit. And I'm just like, yeah, that doesn't take a lot of effort for you. That doesn't take a lot of technique. It looks like you practice for 5 minutes. It's just bad. Him and Carter Bryant, too tall for the dunk competition. Adam Silver, take note. You should be looking for Mac McClung guys. Little dudes that can jump and crazy and do impressive shit. These long, lanky dudes ain't cutting it. Nah, Carter Bryant, in some ways you got skills. But, bro, if you're going to take a long jump coming at the rim, you better jump from the free throw line. Don't step within the free throw line. You're going to do that run up and do that. No. Anything closer than the free throw line is not impressive at all, especially when you got long ass legs and you can step so far. Chris Boucher gonna do a dunk from the free throw line in the middle of a game in the NBA. Y'all can do a dunk from the free throw line. One of y'all could have done that, but nah, that's too hard. In some ways, there's a chance of messing up. They still messed up. These guys didn't even practice or do anything that exceptionally original or anything interesting. And they still messed up running at the court and running at the basket and running around and then having to do an easier dunk right before the time elapsed just to make sure they get it. I'll tell you the reason why Kashad Johnson won, because he was dancing. That's the whole reason why that man won. All this goofy shit with Giannis and everybody. And it's just like, yeah, crowd participation will get you votes. Crowd participation will get you favor. Connecting to the crowd and getting, in some ways, bro didn't even care. It's like, yeah, I'm going to show y'all basic moves, but I'm going to dance. And in some ways, that'll make you want to vote for me. That'll make the judges maybe, he's trying. Look at him. He's dancing. Seriously. Half the reason why he won is because he was enthusiastic and positive and undeniably just like confident. Oh, what a garbage competition, man. What a waste of time. It sucks, man, because this dunk competition in some ways is the thing that should draw new fans to the NBA. It's the thing that should broaden the new generation of youngsters to want to watch the NBA, because that's what it did in the 80s. Wee, did it bring people in to the sport, new fans. And people were like, wow, that was Air Jordan. That's Dominique Wilkins, Dr. J. Judging the contest last night, those guys drew people to the league, Adam Silver. Your business model sucks because one of your bread and butter attractive things that would bring more eyes and more interest on the league is the dunk competition, and the dunk competition's dead. The dunk competition is stale. The dunk competition is tired. The dunk competition has been there, done that, and there's nothing to see here. Wow. It's like your best weapon for getting new eyes into the league, Adam Silver, but you can't do anything with it, can you? No, you can't. Maybe you need to take the pros out of it. Maybe you need to make it a G League dunk competition. Yeah. Then you'll get some preparation. Then you'll get some real excitement. We won't know who they are, but hell, we didn't know who they were last night for the dunk competition in the NBA either. Bring some guys like Elijah Martin from the Raptors 905 and put them out there and let them try and dunk. And they will give you a better show than these NBA guys. I'll tell you right now, because in some ways, those G League guys would have more to prove, more to gain, to go and put the work and to go all out and do something very, very special and not worry about completely failing. Because so what? If you didn't make it, well, it's not going to hurt you as bad as maybe an NBA player. I think that's what it is. Once again, capitalism strikes. The system is broken. And the capitalist mentality of agents and players is, I can't do this. I'm going to lose money. If I do this dunk competition, I'm going to lose money. I have more risk of being a bad business decision than it working out for me and getting me more money. So it's in some ways, that's what's ruining the dunk competition in a way. Is just the whole economic system is hitting its peak and it's bullshit. And the greed has gotten so bad that there's no quality anymore. There's no soul to anything anymore because there's no profit margin in any of that. So, you could say that that's what's ruined the dunk competition too, is money. And the whole idea of money has ruined the dunk competition. That's what I say. Let those youngsters that are hungry from the G League come do it and make it a G League competition. Make it a straight G League competition. And somebody can make their name and get known nationally from the G League without even being in the NBA. I mean, that's my easy, quick solution to this, because the NBA players aren't going to do it right. If you're not going to get the creme de la creme, if you're not going to get real all-stars to do this, the top dunkers, the guys who could actually innovate and push this competition to new levels, then why are you even doing it? It's just a goofy ass little fun thing they do at the end of Saturday night otherwise. And that's what that was last night. No disrespect to Miami's Keshad Johnson, but bro, that was one of the weakest dunk championships I've ever seen in the whole entire history of the NBA. That was the weakest dunk championship. Ugh, horrible. We could talk about the content that has to do with our guy, Scott, the shooting skills competition, and what a convoluted mess that was. Yeah. Tell me you want to set up somebody to win without telling me you want to set up somebody to win. Once again, it's like, this is not a competition. This is a setup to allow a team to win because of everything way you set it up. This is the thing. Once again, on All-Star Saturday night, it's a privilege to go last. It's always a privilege to go last, whether it's the three-point shootout, whether it's the dunk competition, whether it's the shooting skills challenge. Partly the middle contest, the one that Scottie was in with Chet Holmgren and Rip Hamilton, partly that's the most important one to not go first because you're the guinea pig. You're the team that has to run through the rules and do the new thing that nobody's done yet for the first time. Scottie's like, he didn't practice this shit. He didn't even know what the rules were going to be until 5 minutes before it. I'm telling you right now, he didn't. Because he said something like that in an interview. He's like, oh, I'm just coming here to have fun. This will be fun to do this skills challenge. In some ways, it's just like I did it before. It's fun. Well, it's not the same, Scott. They switched up the rules. And they did some convoluted shit. Let me just say that right now. Druski. Yeah. What the fuck is that? Druski. You guys have a celebrity passer. His name is Druski. What the fuck is that, man? Seriously, tell us you're gonna mess us up just on purpose by giving us a comedian to be a passer to our guys who's like, oh, he's gonna be goofy. He's gonna make crazy passes, like one that goes sailing over Scottie's head. It's goofy, man. You know, at least they gave him Rip Hamilton, a great shooter, to be this the legend on his team. But alas, they got to go first. They don't know the rules. They're the guinea pig. And not only that, they have a clown throwing them the passes, a comedian, Druski, who's like, when I saw that part, I was like, wait, what is this shit? Celebrity passer. What the fuck is this shit? And then we saw what it was, and it was shit. And it's like, oh my gosh, this is what this competition is. Because Druski was slow to pass the balls. The Scottie Barnes team only got to shoot like 2 or 3 of the long shots to make the big points at the end. That was a big factor in that skills competition for gaming it, is get through the shots as fast as you can so that you can take multiple long shots to get the most points. And thankfully, Rip Hamilton hit one of those long shots out of the 2 or 3 attempts that they got from that spot. But other teams ripped through the whole course real fast, and they got to shoot like 10 or 20 of these long shots to get more point attempts. So you're a guinea pig. You go out there, you get one dry run, and that's it. You don't get another chance. Well, you're going to be the tester. You're going to have to see, well, this is how you game it to get a strategy to win. But Scottie and Chet and Rip, they ain't going to get that advantage of watching the first team go and thinking about, whoa, we do this, we do that. Yeah. Tell me they ain't trying to help a certain team win by putting certain positions on the team. Yeah. Team Cameron came out there and got to the finals. They had Anthony Anderson as a celebrity passer for Jalen Johnson, Con Knipple, and Corey Maggette. And well, he's not a great passer either. He's a guy who was on TV and movies. So who the fuck is he going to be throwing the passes to them? Here, Con Knipple. Here you go, Corey Maggette. Yeah. And then the team with the Harpers. You got Ron Harper out there missing a layup, but then he made the corner shot. That was cool. Ron Harper, it's kind of fun to see them out there. Of course, the Harper brothers, they're not the best shooters. They're screwing up all over the place. And they got 2 Chainz throwing them the passes. 2 Chainz, the rapper, throwing them the passes. That's not a professional passer. That's 2 Chainz. He does concerts, music videos. He's throwing the ball. But alas, then we get to the final team, the Knicks. And who do the Knicks have for their personnel? Allen Houston, a known sharpshooter from the history of the NBA. Allen Houston. Yeah, and they get to go last, by the way. New York Knicks team gets to go last. And what the fuck is this celebrity passing the ball for them? The father of Jalen Brunson, Rick Brunson, assistant coach for the Knicks, is the celebrity passer. Well, that motherfucker played point guard in the NBA. That dude played in the NBA. He's a basketball player. He's not a comedian. He's not a musician. He's actually a basketball player that knows how to pass the ball to players to know how to catch it, to take the shot and make the shot easier. Talk about game in a game, man. Talk about, this is not competition. This is a farce. This is a setup. And in some ways, part of the problem with the NBA All-Star Weekend is you're like Vince McMahon, Adam Silver, trying to write storylines and set up people to win that you want to win. There is a bit of that, seriously. That's total favor. And well, the Knicks did win. Of course, they got Rick Brunson throwing the passes, a real point guard from the NBA's history. Not only that, he's throwing it to people he probably throws passes to regularly. Cat and Jalen Brunson from practice. And then you got a sharpshooter and an NBA shooting legend in Allen Houston as the third legend. Yeah, that's not fair. That's not fair. And that's gamed for the Knicks to win. Of course, the Knicks won. They had an NBA passer. They were the only one who had an NBA passer. And Spike Lee's doing little twirly dances on the side of the court because he's so happy. Go ahead, Knicks Nation. Enjoy another of these manufactured wins for you with this stupid-ass shooting skills competition. Yeah, Scottie all along was just a guinea pig, guys. He didn't have a chance in this competition. because he was on the mishmash team and he had a Druski as a celebrity passer. What is that garbage, man? That was crazy. Totally crazy and unfair. It's like Jalen Brunson's been catching passes from his dad his entire life. It's like, that's real fair. Sure. 3-point shootout is always the most clinically real competition at the whole entire All-Star weekend. It's the most pinpoint real competition, but yet it's still kind of like what was wrong with the 3-point shootout? Well, once again, going in order matters. Who goes in what order matters. You know, you could be one of the early shooters, like Con Knipple went first, and he got to the finals. He put up a good mark in the first round, and good for him for that. But then, you go early, you're going to, there are different levels to this. There really is tiers. You got Lillard and Booker, and then you got the rest of them. There's these two guys they're on another level, obviously, in this competition, and just as 3-point shooters, they're on another level. And their performances were fantastic. Booker, wow. Lillard back, and he can do it without playing the whole year. And, Booker choked. Yeah, he choked. He could have won it, man. He needed to hit 2 of those last balls on the last rack. He needed 1 to tie, and there would have been an instant shootout. But alas, he choked, and he missed all 3 of the last balls on his rack. And he missed and lost. And Dame Lillard is a 3-time 3-point champion, joining Craig Hodges. And Larry Bird is the only other 3-time 3-point champions. That's impressive. In some ways, I can't hate on that. He earned it. And Devin Booker choked. Norman had an okay showing. There was a little bit of good stuff in there. Jamal Murray, okay, not that great. But yeah, they are a different tier. And, on my predictions yesterday, I was saying, yeah, Dame or a Book, one of those two. And I was exactly right, because they're just another level. There's another tier of, these guys are like that 3-point shooting wise. And in the 3-point shootout, that's kind of their habitat. They do really well in it because they are like that. But yeah, Booker, that was yours to win, man. You choked, bro. You choked. There's kind of my general reaction to the 3 events yesterday as far as what I saw. Let's hear what y'all have to say in the chat. And if you guys want to comment on any of the stuff and talk about anything today, go ahead and put it in the chat. I'll read your comments and see what's going on. Trevor J, first in, Commissioner Fun, words of wisdom this morning. Let's see what Trevor's saying. Karma doesn't rush. It watches. It lets people believe they have won. Their actions have no consequences. And when the moment is right, it responds with perfect timing. No drama, no warning, just the outcome they earned. Yeah, man. Talking about such a powerful energy, I want to respect it. And I don't really like talking about it because I feel like it's something that can go either way on anybody. And in some ways, I get what you're saying. I want to believe that justice is served. I want to believe that evil is punished. But in some ways, I worry that it isn't, that this is something that we just make up as humans in our idea of trying to cope with an unfair world, that something like this will come through. I want to have faith in this. But in some ways, it's also like, if you're scientific about it, this is kind of BS. Seriously, in some ways. I don't know. If you could look at physics on a molecular level, and how in some sort of science way, could you figure out action equals reaction with the physics, laws that would come around, and somehow that is how it happens? I don't know. I want to believe. I have blind faith that hopefully, the creator above is keeping score. But also at the same time, man, I get jaded and I worry that, people are just going to get away with things. So blessings to the Jones family and all the Rap Freak families. Man, I want to believe, man, and we'll see. We'll see over time, because right now it don't seem like this is totally true, because unfortunately, evil is winning. Let's just put it that way. Trevor's saying, Will Lou asked Kawhi about the guys he played with and how they are all stars And he said the talent was there when they win the 2019 championship. He is a hater. That's not what he said exactly. That's not what he said. He said the talent wasn't there, but the work was there. The hard work was there. Yeah, he's a jerk. He's an idiot. And once again, he's piggybacking on a comment he made years ago for part of the reason why he said he did not decide to stay in Toronto. And this is where he fucked up in the first place. And he's piggybacking off of it. He's not taking it back or changing it. This was an opportunity for him to, but he didn't. He doubled down on his stupid original comment. And his original comment was part of the factoring in of why he decided to go to the Clippers after the Raptors championship was that he believed that the Toronto Raptors roster, the team he was just on that won the championship, was not talented enough to repeat. That's one of the stupidest things I've ever heard for leaving a team. For why? You think your team that you're going to is more talented enough to win a championship when you're just on a team that won a championship? You're an idiot. You're a fucking dumbass idiot, Kawhi Leonard. Seriously. And what have you gotten in LA since you've been there? Yeah. None of your teams that you've been on, even if you call them more talented than the Toronto Raptors team that you won a championship with, has won jack shit or squat. So you're a fucking idiot. You are dumb as fuck. You went to San Diego State. You are a dumbass motherfucker, Kawhi Leonard. And look, they gave you an opportunity to fix this yesterday in the media scrum. They came to you and say, look, 6 of your teammates, you 6 guys from that team are all-stars now. It was like, well, they weren't talented enough back then, but they did the hard work, and that's why we won. What matters more, Kawhi? Is it talent? James Harden talent? Is that what matters more for getting championships? Or does the hard work of Siakam matter more? You dumbass. Kawhi Leonard, you're an idiot. In some ways, you believe your own shit, and you don't think it smells. And honestly, you are a garbage NBA star. You always have been. You could have been so much more in promoting for this league in all kinds of ways, but you're a dumbass, and you're an idiot. And once again, you got a good opportunity to walk back a dumbass comment from 5 years ago, but you didn't. You doubled down on it like a fool. You're a dumbass, Kawhi. I lost a lot of respect for him in that opportunity right there. Some people were saying, no, he's misrepresenting his comment. No, because the original comment was the fuck up, and he's doubling down on it. Whatever your perception is, Kawhi, you're dumb. You're dumb. You may be a good basketball player. You may be able to score really well. You may be a good defensive player, but you're a stupid person when analyzing basketball and basketball decisions, obviously, because you went to Clippers and you didn't give the Raptors a chance to try and repeat. So you're a fucking idiot. And in fact, the statistics show that we were better without him the next year because we had the best record in Raptors history the year after Kawhi walked away, the year of the pandemic. We had the best record in Raptors history. So he's a stupid, dumbass motherfucker. And he should have walked back some of his comments from 5 years ago. He had the opportunity yesterday and he didn't. What an idiot. He is really, really stupid, man. Like his IQ is so low. I'm telling you right now. Yeah, you can say, oh, they worked hard. Well, you know what? I'd rather have a team that works hard, that wins, instead of a talented team that sits around in street clothes, that sits around and wastes your life in LA. How about that, Kawhi Leonard? Boom goes the dynamite, bitch. You sorry ass. Seriously, man. He's just, I don't even get this, man. Why do you denigrate your own fucking success, Kawhi Leonard? I don't even get this, bro. You won a championship with the Raptors, bro. You shouldn't denigrate your teammates from then and say this cocky ass, stupid ass shit. You gonna tell Kyle Lowry he's not talented enough? Well, he'll outwork you then, motherfucker. He's so stupid, man. He is so stupid. All right, let's see. Trevor saying it was Dame time last night. Win with the 3-point shootout. All-star, very horrible. There were more Christmas lights in the arena than people. Yeah, this is an interesting aspect of this All-Star weekend. We've seen the Intuit Dome twice, Friday and Saturday night, and both nights the arena's empty. There's nobody there. You know, they got this interesting light effect that they're doing in there. And you notice they keep the lights down. You can't see the whole arena. That's because there's nobody there. Nobody went to these events. This is like a huge fail. Like there's, are you trying to sell tickets, Steve Ballmer? How much were they? Were they too much? Why is there nobody there? Seriously, nobody gives a shit. Maybe the word out is out, Adam Silver. The fucking All-Star weekend sucks and nobody cares about going to it. They had this light effect, lights all around the whole dome. And it's kind of cool looking, but it's also giving away how much it's empty. And you can kind of make out in the darkness, oh, there seems to be a body there, but there's all these lights around them next to it. There's nobody in that part. Yeah, I don't know what the attendance records are for All-Star weekend, but this may be breaking the worst capacity attendance. Like the arena capacity, like what is the percentage it's filled? And compare that to years in the past. Yeah, this is this like sinking ship of the All-Star weekend literally sinking in front of our eyes, not just in how poor the quality of the All-Star weekend is, but the fact that nobody's at it. This is crazy. This is crazy. I had never seen this before. I thought that the allure of B and C rate celebrities in some sort of goofy ass prop dunking would get some people out there on their butts and coming into the Steve Ballmer Dome. But no, man, it's like everything sucks now. The veil is lifted. Aspiration, Steve Ballmer, bullshit, Kawhi Leonard. And the NBA is full of shit. And their product is stale as fuck. And it's just stupid at this point. And nobody's buying it anymore. That sucks. Adam Silver, man, you're running David Stern's league into the ground. You are. You are literally fucking up an institution that David Stern worked so fucking hard on to build up and make a global brand. And in some ways, yeah, maybe you're being more financially successful than ever right now because of streaming and this and that and all this kind of goofy shit. But you're honestly killing the league as far as its brand quality, as far as its appeal. I don't see why anybody would get in the NBA from the All-Star weekend. Nobody's becoming an NBA fan from this event this weekend. In the past, this event could make new NBA fans and make new people turn on and say, I want to check out this league more. Oh, no, not anymore. No, in some ways, you guys missed the point of what All-Star weekend is supposed to be. It's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be organic. It's supposed to be connecting with the world. It's supposed to be, we want to see stuff we won't normally see. None of that shit's happening anymore. And it's just a waste of time. It's a waste of time at this point. And it's sad because it shouldn't be like this. People want more joy. People want more fun in their lives right now more than ever. And the NBA is supposed to provide this. But somehow, some way, corporations have squeezed the life and soul of the All-Star weekend to make it what it is now. The things that are important to the All-Star weekend behind the scenes and to the NBA and Adam Silver do not lead to success in connecting with the public and making the world more into the NBA. Because what is the All-Star weekend but advertisement to get new fans, Adam Silver? And you ain't getting no new fans with your tired ass shit, is what I'm saying. Seriously, Dame Lillard wins again? That's boring. Yeah, who cares? Who the fuck is Keshad Johnson? It's boring. And that convoluted ass shooting skills competition. What the fuck was that? Seriously, man. Seriously. Isaac's saying this. If you missed out on catching All-Star Saturday, then it's fitting to know that it can be defined by one hard pass. One hard pass. I don't even know which one you're talking about. One hard pass. What was defined by one hard pass? Oh, the Druski threw a high pass over Scottie's head. And that kind of defines the whole thing. Yeah, I could say that. That was kind of a goofy moment. It was a little clownish moment. And so Scottie don't care. He's playing in the All-Star game today. That's what he cares about. He don't give a shit about the shooting star skills competition. He's just happy to participate. You know what I'm saying? In some ways, that's what it is with him, man, right there. Isaac's saying, just a passing comment. I guess that's why they removed the word skills from the challenge. Oh, so funny, man. So funny. I mean, they basically did the competition they do at halftime or in a break at an NBA game with a fan. Hit the shot next to the basket. Those shoot from here. Go shoot a free throw. Go shoot from here. If you can make all the shots, you can make $10,000, fan. You know, it's basically that competition they did, man. Man, there's, you know what? Maybe what we need is less players at the NBA All-Star game. You know, somebody had the idea on Reddit that they should make a mascot game where they should have just the mascots play each other in a goofy ass game. That would be fun. In some ways, that would be novel and new at this point, and we would get to see some goofy ass shit. Maybe you have a trampoline out there so they could actually fucking jump and dunk it. You know, I put the Raptor out there in the mascot all-star game. That might be fun. Once again, y'all did this in the past. Maybe there were problems with this. A Legends game. Why not just let the oldsters that haven't played in a while, that we love, that we forget, you know, you can go steal guys from Ice Cube's league that are still playing around and just let them come out and relive the glory of playing in front of an audience and millions around the world. I hope there's millions watching. Probably not at this point. You shut all over the goodwill of the fans to watch this event. You know, maybe you make a Legends game again. I don't know. You got to start freshening it up, bro. In some ways, your 3-point shootout can stay because it's just a general good competition that's just straight up the way it is. But this other stuff's got to go, man. This other stuff's got to go. The dunk competition needs to be G League. Maybe you got Legends, and you just let the NBA players deal with the All-Star game, and that's it. You can still do Rising Stars, but in some ways, that should maybe not be a Elam ending 4-team tournament, and maybe just a full 4-quarter game with the regular way it is. You know, Kareem Thomas was saying this in the Discord, saying screwing around with the format so much doesn't allow for uniformity and comparison over the years. You know, if you had the All-Star game the regular way it's supposed to be, a regular game, 4 quarters, 12 minutes, you could actually look at the stats from the All-Star games throughout the history and kind of compare. But nah, not if you're doing this crazy 3-team world versus 2 USA team bullshit that you're doing today. So I don't know, man. What do you do to fix the All-Star weekend? There's so many problems. It's not even like he's fixing these problems each year. He's adding more problems every year. It's not like these problems are getting solved. Oh, we solved this one, but this one, no, it's whack-a-mole. These motherfucking moles are jumping up new holes. This is a problem now with your All-Star weekend. This is a problem now with your All-Star weekend. Oh my gosh. What a mess. What a mess, Adam Silver. In some ways, you know what you need? Just like a lot of corporate people and corporations, you need more soul. You need more realness. You need more authenticity. You need to fucking maybe get rid of all the colorful logos all over the place and get back to what matters about, you know, an all-star weekend. It's stars showcasing their skills and getting the opportunity to do something that wows the crowd. Nobody wants to wow the crowd anymore because the money's too good, I guess. That's what it is right there. That's what it is. Cream saying All-Star Saturday night, more like matinee. Yeah, that was weird too. That was really weird for being a West Coast event in LA. They did it all during the day. They were done by 8 o'clock, which is weird, man. I was so used to it. I was like, man, they're starting at 5 p.m. I think they finally figured it out. It drags on and goes on too late. So I figured that we'd watch All-Star Saturday night from 5 p.m. all the way until 11 p.m. And no, they got it done in 3 hours still. And that's amazing. So why did you start at 5 and ended up 8? That didn't make no sense, Adam Silver. This is so weird, man. Like, really, seriously. All-Star Saturday night, All-Star Saturday matinee. Yeah. Yeah, that's about right, Kareem. Seriously. G saying, I know it's for fun, but way to script it for the Knicks to win. Oh, of course. Of course. I mean, I think that in some ways, I got the feeling that Jalen Brunson, his dad, Rick Brunson, was upset that the Knicks legend that was picked to be in this competition was Allen Houston, that he wanted to be the Knicks legend. So somehow, some way, Rick Brunson had to get involved somehow, some way, because he's a pushy guy. And he's like, oh, well, all right, I'll do this. And then he got really, really competitive. You know, some people are going to be competitive around the All-Star weekend, whether it's Dame Lillard, Vince Carter, or Rick Brunson, because he wants to win. He's going to fire those passes to his team better than Druski or Anthony Anderson. You know, there's been a real father-son theme to this whole weekend. They've been trying to do this here and there, whether it's Richard Jefferson bringing his kids into the forum to talk to James Worthy on the opening night, whether it was Anthony Anderson and Donald Faison walking out with their sons when they got introduced as coaches for the celebrity game, whether it was, Rick Brunson and Jalen Brunson or the Harpers, father son kind of stuff all over this All-Star weekend. Yeah, they did set it up for the Knicks. You're exactly right. KT saying the skills competition was basically a layup, then a 14-foot midi, a three-pointer, and a half-court heave. That's skills. Laugh out loud. A clown on a unicycle doing figure eights has more skills. Yeah, I mean, why not just do a horse game? Seriously, they've done that in the past. I think they kind of did horse before. Other people are calling out that maybe they need to do what Unrivaled is doing or something like that, or a one-on-one tournament. Why not that? Adam Silver, we can do all kinds of other basketball games than the ones that are tired and done over and over again. And maybe, who knows, after a bit of time, maybe it's fresh to rehash the old ones and bring them back around after time has forgotten them for a bit. Like maybe the dunk competition needs to go away for a while until there's hunger to do it by the right people in the NBA to do it. Maybe there'll be like one day, Adam Silver says, the NBA players will not do dunk competition anymore. The G League will do it now. And you know what? That's just how it is. And then someday an NBA player comes in and is like, Adam, I really want to do the dunk competition this year. I have some fresh stuff that I don't think anybody's done. Well, you know the rules. It's a G League competition now. You guys didn't really take care of it. Well, I want to change that. Maybe that's what it needs, is to take a hiatus, and then we'll miss it, and then we'll come back to it. And maybe we need different events in different ways, like a one-on-one tournament instead. Just scrap the whole Saturday night and just have a bunch of NBA stars go up against each other, the best ones, in a 16-man one-on-one tournament. And that's your whole Saturday. Forget about it. Maybe you have the three-point shootout at halftime or something like that. But that's it. You don't do any of these skills competitions, nothing like that. I don't know. We're coming up with ideas here. It's not Thursday, but we're think tanking it. And, what is this, man? What is this? Seriously. Yeah, that's a clown on a unicycle doing figure eights has more skill. Maybe we should have a talent show where they come out and show all the halftime talents, like what's her name? Red Panda. And the little dog with the guy and all the different little shows. And maybe we have a talent show and we vote as an audience who's the best NBA halftime show of the year. We get the best. Get that Simon Says motherfucker out there so we can downvote him so he doesn't win. Simon Says. I don't know. Get all the halftime shows out there, like the regular ones that travel around the NBA, and we'll just see them. Although everybody be like, we've seen them. They come through. They were at our arena last week. I don't know. I'm just trying to spitball here. Trying to figure something out for you, Adam. Since your fucking product's such shit right now. I'm just trying to help you, bro. Seriously. Fiercely saying this. Good morning, fam, and happy Sunday. Yesterday wasn't it. My goodness. Pairing Druski with Scottie was a setup, in my opinion. I turned off the TV, but later saw the magnificent Knicks team won, of course. Yeah, who cares about that? In some ways, it's like, yeah, give them a little help. Maybe they would have given that help to the Clippers if Kawhi wasn't such a degenerate and didn't want to do it. And they didn't want to talk about aspiration anyway. And, the Clippers team became Cameron team because Kawhi didn't want to do it. Corey Maggette was supposed to be working with Kawhi in that competition. But alas, they didn't get the hometown team. So Steve Ballmer, you're failing all over the place, bro. You didn't get a Clippers team in the shooting competition. And your toilet bowl is half empty. Seriously, your toilet bowl is half empty, man. It's crazy, man. So crazy. G saying, if you want a guaranteed loss, have Druski on your team. I know. Seriously, man. What was that? I thought the guy wasn't in the All-Star celebrity game. So it's like, this guy's not here this weekend. Thank God. And then he showed up and he was at the thing with Scottie. I'm like, oh, fuck, man. Who is this Druski guy? Like, seriously, it's over my head. I'm old. So I don't even know why he's famous or funny or who the fuck he is. He's just some dude who appeared in pop culture in the last couple of years. I'm like, okay, was he in State Farm commercials and shit like that or something? I don't fucking know what Druski started, why he's famous. Is he a comedian? Does he actually get up on stage and do stand-up? What does he do? Why is he famous? Is he an internet person that just got famous for that? Oh, okay, that tells me everything I need to know. Seriously. Yeah, seriously, man. This is crazy, man. Let's see. Kareem saying this. I've seen more of a crowd at Paramount on a Wednesday, 2 p.m. start. Ah, man. Man, maybe you should have made this a school days game. Maybe you would have had an amazing arena. Maybe you shouldn't be so greedy, Steve Ballmer and Adam Silver. And maybe you should have had cheap tickets. Maybe you should have opened up the building. You know, sometimes Vince McMahon would do this. He'd give free tickets just to fill the place out to kids in the neighborhood real quick, just before the show. You'd be selfish, gatekeeping. Why didn't you just go to the local school and just give a whole batch? If you saw ticket sales were so bad, you know, maybe a couple days before you go to a local elementary school and say, hey, kids, you want tickets to our day event? So it won't be before your bedtime. We can have you come and sit and watch the NBA All-Star Saturday. Woo! Bring in a bunch of kids. They'll get loud. They'll bring energy to the building. They'll fill those Christmas light seats. But no, it's about this. It's not necessarily about building your brand or getting kids in there. Ooh, I went to All-Star Saturday when I was 7, and I became an NBA fan for the rest of my life, even though it was a free ticket. I loved it. Adam Silver, you're a bad businessman. You're a bad businessman. You're not getting the new generation in there. You got to get those kids in there. Bus loads. And they'll cheer your event right. We've seen it in 905 game. It's like, what is this crap, man? What is this crap? Kareem saying none of the judges were impressed, just forced to vote. The lowest scorecard they have is an 8. I know, man. I know. I felt for Dr. J and Dominique Wilkins sitting there and seeing what they built has become. Like, this is what it is. Damn. You know, Dwight Howard always voting, giving way too high marks. He's like the high judge. Oh, this is great. Oh, this is great. Oh, this is great. Yeah, Dwight Howard, you were a sorry-ass dunk champion yourself. Brett Barry was funny. He was sitting there with his LA Clippers jacket at the beginning of the show, but he took it off when he saw nobody else is wearing their team colors and their team stuff. So I'm taking off my Clippers jacket. You know, dunk champion Brent Barry for the LA Clippers back in the day. Yeah, he dunked in that jacket. That's why he wore it, is because he showed, he's like, hey, I got the jacket still. The jacket I wore when I won the dunk competition. Yeah, that's pretty interesting. Pretty interesting. Fiercely saying it wasn't a dunk contest. It was a dance showcase. So garbage. Well, because Shad made it that. That's for sure. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. Adam, what have you done? What have you done? Why was the All-Star weekend so good in Toronto? And everywhere else since has been garbage. And it didn't even matter that it was the coldest weekend in Toronto history. That All-Star weekend was fire and was the most memorable All-Star weekend in the last 25 years. It's just like, yeah, why was it so great in Toronto? I wonder why. Because the people of Toronto and the organization made it better. Because we had it more organized and did a better job hosting, despite frigid temperatures. And, you know, we had the best dunk contest since Vince Carter, and we had a Kobe effect. In some ways, maybe the All-Star weekend died with Kobe leaving the league, you know, that maybe All-Star got bad as soon as Kobe retired. And that's just like, because he was in some ways the Mamba mentality, and he was the quality assurance of a certain level of compete, and like, this is something to take seriously. Maybe he was the last linkage to Michael and Larry and Magic and the 80s and 90s guys who really carried the torch for the All-Star weekend correctly. And Kobe was the last guy who was kind of carrying it through his era. And then when he retired, nobody's carrying it correctly now. There's no person that when you see walk on an All-Star court today that you're going to say, this guy's carrying the integrity of this game today to make it seem like it's a real competition. Wemby, maybe, because Wemby's trying to say that. He's trying to say, I'm coming out there. I'm going to try my ass off. I'm going to really try to win. Well, If we see more of that action from you, Wemby, we do know you're a supreme competitor. Maybe you could get that feeling of integrity back for the All-Star game, like Kobe Bryant brought to the All-Star game. Because we knew if Kobe is such a competitor, he can't, him and Jordan, the same kind of mentality. They're going to want to win. And when it's winning time, they're going to go into another mode and try and do it. Is there anybody in this All-Star game today, in any of the teams, in this 3-team convoluted All-Star format that is so stupid? In some ways, that's defeating the game already. The fact that this All-Star game is just dumb, the format. Is there anybody going to carry that mantle that Kobe used to carry for the All-Star weekend? Nobody. Nobody's done it since. It's been how many years now? 10 years. Nobody's done it since. Just garbage. Garbage. She's exactly right. Trevor's saying the up and next game dunk competition was better than the All-Star Saturday night. The up next game dunk competition, the G League dunk competition. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Scrap the NBA one and put those G League guys in the limelight. Put them on the stars. Because in some ways, these guys, they have everything to gain and nothing to lose because they're nobodies already. And that, they could get really good notoriety. Sure, Mac McClung's already been doing this for y'all for 3 years. Winning the dunk competition as a G League player. You could have just done this. Elijah Martin would have been your dunk champion yesterday if you'd done this, Adam Silver. And you would have had a way better dunk competition if Elijah Martin had been in the dunk competition yesterday. I'm telling you right now. You would have had amazing dunk competition because he would have wowed everybody. He would have done something that would have made people go crazy. But nah, in some ways you want tall guys that are nobodies on other teams. That's fine. You're going to get what you get like you did last night. That's right. That's right. Kareem's saying this, that skills challenge was basically a team warm-up drill before the game. Yeah. Yeah, he's trying to make a joke, but honestly, that's the truth. That is the truth. Let's see. He's also saying only people to save this weekend is Coach Darko and the Raptor staff. I hope the world team comes and plays like it's game 7 of the NBA Finals. I'm really surprised because they're saying that Team World has the favor to win this thing. Seriously. The betting odds right now are saying that Darko's team is the favorite to win this All-Star game today. That the people are putting money on the Team World to beat USA. I mean, I don't think that that's possible because I think that Adam Silver and the NBA executives and the shoe people like Nike and all these other people, they have so much money tied up in the USA being dominant in basketball that they don't want the narrative, the storyline that the U.S. is second or could be worse than the world out there. And it's very similar to some of the Olympics shit that happens with Team USA. I don't think it's possible that they'll let Darko win today, guys. I really don't. If we see some convoluted shit later too, that shows like, okay, that doesn't seem like that was totally fair. And there's any ref manipulation or any kind of weird shit, because seriously, they don't want, this is part of the reason why they have 2 USA teams against 1 world team, is they don't want the world to beat the US. They don't. That's just truth. And in some ways, it's all about this. It's all about the corporate, it's all about the looking at the whole picture of the world of basketball and the stranglehold that the U.S. has to feel like the propaganda that they're winning. Meanwhile, we got Brandon Ingram sitting in the media scrum yesterday, and they're asking him about playing the world. And he said, man, the world's caught up. I don't care what anybody's saying. The world stars are better than ever, and they have caught up to the United States. He's in the middle of the games playing against the world stars like SGA and Nikola and Giannis. He understands firsthand because he's in the middle of it, but perceptions are trying to be built. They try and build up, these American players are better than these world players. People start talking about the defensive prowess of world players. Well, we'll see that with Wemby. We'll see if they play some defense with Victor Wembanyama out there. Well, hopefully they will. We'll have to see. But yeah, it's a very interesting whole thing, this world versus USA format today. And would they actually allow the world team to win? I'm not even sure if they will, guys. I'm not even sure if they will. It's very likely that the old USA team's going to win today. And if that's so predictable, because that's the storyline that Adam Silver wants to write, is Steph Curry, LeBron James, Kawhi Leonard, Brandon Ingram's team going to win today. Yeah, I'll make that prediction right now. That's the storyline they want to write. is that the old guard, the old USA team is going to win today because that's the storyline they want to write. They want to send those guys out into the pasture, retiring in the next few years with this kind of, stuff. In some ways, it's just like Team USA in Paris last summer. Same kind of shit. Same kind of stuff, man. Yeah, let's see. Isaac's saying the Knicks had a former NBA player setting up their shots, and we had a comedian that can't even land passable jokes. I know. I know. I know, guys. I was like, and I'm glad y'all came to the same conclusions as me. Is that like this is how this is gamed. Is like seriously, Druski, come on now. Come on now. It's not that Scottie cares. He doesn't care about any of this. It's kind of funny, but the Knicks can have a little participation trophy. Go ahead. Get your little trophy and feel good about yourselves. Now you've got the in-season tournament trophy and the father-son skills competition. So father-son shooting competition. It's just like y'all are in the driveway again, Brunsons. All right, let's see. Kareem saying, I'd rather Alex Wong or Will Liu passing than Druski. I don't know. I don't know if that's an upgrade. Nah, I seen Alex Wong and his ball skills. Nah, I don't know if this is an upgrade. Maybe Will Liu might be a little bit better. Maybe a little bit better. Not much, though. Not really much, though. Yeah, Nako's here. Good to see you, Gerald. Good morning, Nako the Nacho. Kawhi does not react like a fun guy. Man, it's just dumb, man. I just don't get it. Like, I never got why people would want to diss their own championship. Norman said something funny a few years ago that I was like, why'd you say that? That's not like for your team, bro. Look, it's special. The 2019 championship is special. And sure, there was some luck involved in it too. But there was a lot of skill and hard work and a lot of things lined up for it to happen. I appreciate that in some ways. You can't deny the talent of this team, Kawhi. Come on, man. Marc Gasol, Serge Ibaka. Come on, bro. What's wrong with you, man? What's wrong with you? I think that in some ways, Kawhi should be more like general NBA fan. In hindsight, they're looking at that Raptors team and they're like, wow, that team was really good. I mean, they didn't even have OG. OG was on their bench with appendicitis. He didn't even play a minute in that whole playoff run. And he was on that team and won a championship. That's what Knicks fans say. Like, they're like, holy crap, the Raptors won in 2019, and they didn't even have our beloved Anunoby. It's amazing. People can go back and look at that team and just understand that team was badass. That team was badass. And it needs more respect, especially in hindsight now that Norman Powell's going to be an all-star today. That's right. Especially now. He doesn't even know what he's talking about, man. Kawhi Leonard. He does not know. He does not know, man. Jimmy Pope is here. Good morning to the Pope of Positivity. He's saying, shame the All-Star weekend isn't taken seriously anymore. Why should it be? When the players don't take it seriously, the commissioner doesn't take it seriously. I don't think the owner of the team that's hosting it is taking it seriously. I think that it's just a big, stupid mess at this point. It sucks, man, because I don't want to be like ESPN, downgrading the product and talking about how bad it is, but we have to be honest here. We have to be honest here. Seriously, we have to be honest here. This is not the All-Star weekend that I knew as a young person in my first half of my life, the first 25 years of my life. This is not the same All-Star weekend. It's changed a lot since Vince Carter's Oakland All-Star dunk competition. It's changed a lot. There's been highs and lows, mostly lows. There's been a few good All-Star weekends since 2001. There's been only a few. Like, in how many years now? 25 years? How many good All-Star weekends have we had in the last 25 years in the era of Adam Silver? How many? Maybe one or two. And that's it. Most of these All-Star weekends have been forgettable and honestly just stupid. Seriously. And this one's the worst so far. Seriously. And they were really bad the last couple of years. Utah's All-Star weekend was not good. The Indiana one had its messed up shit last year. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. Isaac's saying, if passing is not a skill, then why have I never heard of this Druski guy? Hard pass. Hard pass. He's just making a bunch of dad puns about passing. All right, I'm going to go ahead and give him a dunk, even though it seems like he's trying to force it. You're trying to force things here a little bit, Isaac. You got the Jamias Ramsey 27, my guy. He worked hard enough. He passed it hard enough that he got it. G saying Kawhi thought Chris Paul was talented though. I'm starting to believe he isn't that bright, to be honest. Yeah, he's not. He's not. He's not. He's not. Uncle Dennis was thinking for him. And in some ways, Uncle Dennis had his own selfish motives and things to tell him what to do and stuff like that. And it's like, Kawhi, man. Oh my gosh. Like in some ways, the stunted growth piece that's going to be put on you that someday is going to be so good. Like there's going to be such an interesting thing. I think he's done a little bit on Kawhi Leonard already. But man, stunted growth, great YouTube channel on basketball. You guys should watch it. He comes out with about 10-minute clips on different players and why their growth is being stunted. He just did one recently on Cam Whitmore and talking about how he's been traded a couple times now and how this is stunning his growth. He goes over a lot of the new young players and old players too that we forgot about and why did these players just not get to higher levels of success. He did a stunted growth on Kevin Durant, talking about how Kevin could have been even more than what he is in his career and where his growth got stunted. You know, it's a very, very good channel. I can't recommend it enough. And Kawhi Leonard needs the treatment. Let's just put it that way, because he has a stunted growth. Kawhi Leonard could have had a most glorious, amazing NBA career, but he got in his own way. Seriously, he got in his own way. Yeah, G saying this: there were no lottery picks except him on the team. Is he basing talent on some superficial draft situation? Shaking my head. It sounds like bullshit that Uncle Dennis told him. Like, once again, anything that Kawhi says, I'm not going to believe it's an original thought from his head because I don't know if he has those. It could very well be that this is the word speak that his uncle trained him to say for an excuse. And that in some ways his uncle never really respected the Raptors or the championship or our team. And it's easy for him to say, oh, they weren't talented enough to repeat. That's what you tell him, Kawhi. Kawhi, just tell him that it weren't talented enough to repeat. And you didn't want to waste your time there. That don't make no fucking sense. You should have gave us a chance to try and get a second championship, Uncle Dennis. You dumbass. You see what your nephew's done since. Sit around in street clothes more than half the time in LA taking Steve Ballmer's money. Yeah, you grifters. You know, there's some rumors that they're going to come out with the punishment for Steve Ballmer and aspiration scandal after this All-Star weekend. That they didn't want to taint the weekend or do anything about this whole entire year, partly because they knew that they had already set up the Clippers to host the All-Star weekend this year and that they were in trouble with, punishing Steve Ballmer, coming after him for the Pablo Torre scandal with aspiration. They were waiting to do this. I've heard that they're going to punish him on Wednesday. They're going to come back from the All-Star break, and Steve Ballmer is going to get a punishment for wrongdoing with Kawhi Leonard in aspiration. They didn't want to do it before because it would be in the media's ear and they would talk about it too much. You know, that's what I'm hearing, that they are going to come at Steve Ballmer after this All-Star weekend. So maybe part of the reason why the weekend sucks so bad is because they know the other foot's about to drop, the other shoe's about to drop on that. Yeah, it's crazy, man. Nameless is here. Good morning to Nameless. One of the most ridiculous things I've ever heard a professional athlete say, especially considering he was a part of that championship. I know. And the crazy thing is, he said that originally 5 years ago. And the first year he was back on when he was on the Clippers. He has 5 years since to kind of change and modify his statement. And the question's very fair. It's like, look, now Norman's here. Pascal's been here a few times now since. Fred's been here. These guys are getting all-stars from your team. You, Kyle, Marc Gasol. That's 6 all-stars from your championship team with the Raptors, Kawhi. Oh, they weren't talented enough. They worked hard, but they worked hard. That's how they won. I mean, that's true. They did work hard. They worked damn hard, but where's the line where talent and working hard fits to get to the 2019 Toronto Raptors championship team? Seriously, bro. I mean, seriously. In some ways, that's elitist talent guys saying this. Oh, they weren't talented enough. Like me. I'm so talented. You squander your fucking talent, Kawhi Leonard. You squander it. That's what Stunted Growth will say when he does your piece, is that Kawhi squandered his talent over the years because he could have done so much more. but in some ways he sat out petty. In some ways he had injury concerns and injury issues and this and that. What could have been with Kawhi Leonard? Could he have had stat accumulations like DeMar DeRozan over his career if he had been more consistent and showing up and being there all the time? He'll never be anywhere near the stat accumulations of DeMar DeRozan in his career stats because he's a part-time player. He's a part-time player, Stevie Wonder. Part-time player. Did you ever get on the court ever now? Is you over there in the street close high? I don't know why I'm singing a Stevie Wonder parody song for a second there. I'm sorry. That was pretty bad. I apologize. Let's see. Kareem saying putting a microphone in front of Kawhi 6 years later is pointless. His reason for leaving is simply because he never wanted to be there and was going home regardless. Any shit that spews out of his mouth is relevant in my eyes. We got to stop fishing for closure. Well, in some ways, it's like, look, I understand why he left too, and I'm with you on that. But also, does he need to denigrate his own accomplishment and his own teammates that he won that accomplishment with? That's the problem here. I get why he left. I get that they've all said this, that they knew it was a one-year rental and he was only going to be here no matter what. But honestly, if he wasn't such a closed-minded person, he should have opened his eyes and his mind to the possibilities of a second year in Toronto. But no, it's so dumb. In some ways, you can try and justify his reasoning for what he did in the 1 year of being a Toronto Raptor, but it's not going to come around to fix any of the logic or the stupidity of it. Seriously, it's absolutely stupid. And I think that most people would agree with this. I think NBA players would agree with this. I think that if you ask Scottie, he'd be like, yeah, he's crazy to leave like this city like that at that peak and what he just did. You know, even people like Mick Foley, wrestler, Mankind, Dude Love, Cactus Jack. He has publicly came out and said, I can't believe Kawhi Leonard left Canada after that championship. It was really foolish. He was so over in that country and he threw it all away. If we were wrestlers and we were that over in that country, oh my gosh, you're like Bret Hart in Canada all of a sudden, Kawhi Leonard. And you threw that all away. Even Mick Foley has publicly said he thinks Kawhi Leonard was stupid for leaving Toronto after 1 year and one and done with a championship. Yeah, it's crazy, man. Nako's saying this. Siakam had a better career since 2019 than Kawhi. Boom goes the dynamite. You want to dunk, Gerald? That's how you get one right there. That's pure facts right there. That is pure facts. In some ways, Siakam may have been the second banana on our championship team, but that is pure facts. You got the RJ9, and how fitting, man. How fitting. That is pure facts. I mean, I don't even know how many All-Stars Kawhi's gotten since. He's maybe gotten 2. So it's similar to Pascal's. Pascal's gotten 3. No, wait. Pascal's gotten 4 All-Stars since the championship year. I'm pretty sure. He got 2 with the Raptors, and he's got 2 with the Pacers now. Yeah, because he was an All-Star twice for us, and this is his second time being an All-Star for the Pacers since we traded him there. So he's got 4 All-Stars. I don't think Kawhi's got 4 All-Stars since we traded, since he went to LA. I don't think he's got 4 All-Stars in the last 10 years. Wait, it's not 10 years. It's like 6 years. Yeah, that's interesting right there, man. Kareem's saying he knows he fucked up, but he won't ever admit that. Yeah, what's there to admit? He can't go back and change it. And in some ways, it's better for him to just shut up and just be quiet old Kawhi and his goofiness. That's why when he opens his mouth, that's not part of the deal, Kawhi. You're supposed to be shutting up and quiet. Yeah, when you open your mouth on it, it's like, okay, you're breaking the rules here. Peyton Manning, the no talking about it clause. Peyton Manning, you're not supposed to talk about it. Don't bring it up. That's right. That's right. Isaac's saying Kawhi must feel like Thanos. What did it cost you, Kawhi? Everything. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's like some people say I'll sleep when I die. You know, I'll go home when I retire. Some people say that too, Kawhi Leonard. I'll go home when I retire. You retired early because you're playing and you're retired already. Because that's kind of what this was, y'all. It's like, hey, I figured this out with my uncle. I can retire while I'm still getting checks. I'll just go and get Steve Ballmer to pay me to sit around and I'll act like I'm on the team. Seriously, that's kind of genius in some ways. I'm going to go home and I'll retire, but I'll still be playing for the Clippers. Needless to say, just a totally asinine thing to say. Good thing he's not our problem anymore. I know. In some ways, I am happy about that too, man, because honestly, it's like, he is an idiot, man. He really is an idiot, man. That's crazy, man. Trevor's saying ice was outside the building. Ice was outside the building. What are you talking about? Ice. Only ice I got around my building is icicles. That's it. I got some icicles melting because we got some melt days coming up this week. This is awesome. Let's see how much of this snow and the ice goes away in the next 5 days around here because it's coming, man. Like they're melting like crazy right now outside. It's awesome. We're getting plus weather all of a sudden, and I love it, man. I love it. The bunnies have been crazy. But bunnies are really active in my yard right now. I love them, man. Some people get mad about the bunnies, the little cottontail bunnies, but I love them, man. They're like my pets, man. I see them in the yard and make me happy. They just make me happy. They're pooping all over the place. Some people get mad. Oh, the bunnies are pooping all over my yard. I'm like, they're fertilizing my yard. They're getting things ready for my spring to plant because they're going to make the ground so good. Yeah, there's a bunny that likes to sit in my yard in the middle of the yard. I went out there to toke at like 1:30 late last night. And the bunny was out in the middle of the yard digging in the snow. And I think it was eating the grass. It like dug all the way down to the grass. And it's like eating the grass in the middle of the yard in the snow. Yeah, and it was like at 1:30 in the morning. And it's like in the middle of the night. And I'm like, what are you doing, bunny, out there? It's not scared of me. I think it's because I've been around it since it was a little baby because it's basically lived in my yard as its territory, and I've been around it since it was very little. So now that it's like 2 years old, it's like it doesn't even pay attention to me. If I walk or say something to it, it doesn't run away from me. Like it's cool with me. It's weird, but yeah, I love my bunnies. And well, the thaw is coming. Yeah, you guys, seriously, did you have that at your house right now? Is this what you're talking about, Trevor? I mean, is this a bad joke you're trying to make? Because nothing is funny about ice in the United States right now. So don't make any jokes about ice. Ice is a serious problem in the United States, and there's nothing funny about it. Okay, there's no jokes about ice. Okay. Nameless is saying this. We see the team Kawhi assembled in LA, so maybe he's not the best assessor of talent, anyways. So what does his opinion really matter? Well, it's just like why, we asked him the question. I think William Lou was the one who asked him the question. And in some ways, he could have rectified something. That's all I'm saying is he had the opportunity to maybe say something glowing or nice about that team. Instead, he peddled the same shit he said before, just in a new form. So that's what it is right there. Danny's saying that was the best 3-point contest in recent memory. There was drama to it. There really was drama to it. And I mean, seeing the excellence of those guys is pretty cool. I mean, it was weird. Booker's last run, he started so fire. He made like every shot in the first rack. And I was like, he's going to make all of them this round. It was really weird. I was going from, all right, Booker's not going to miss in this final round to, oh no, he's not going to make another one about halfway through. And then he got back on track for a second and then he made it interesting, but then he failed on the last rack. And he knew it, man. He was humiliated too. He hated that so much. This is part of the reason why nobody wants to do these competitions because somebody has to lose. And when Dame was getting his interview and holding the trophy, they kept flashing over to Devin, and Devin looked like he was sad. Devin looked like he was humiliated. He looked like he felt like he really screwed up, and that he didn't take the opportunity to win it, and he knew he could have. Yeah, he could have. He could have won it. He just needed to be hit a couple of those shots at the end. He would have won it. That's right. Bryce is here. Good morning to Bryce Lawson, holding it down in the state of Kentucky, the Bluegrass State, the alma mater of our great Emmanuel Quickley and the Kentucky Wildcats. That's right. Good morning, Lex and Raptor Freak family. As a Valentine's gift, my fiance got us tickets to my first ever Raptors NBA game. Wow. Fantastic, man. April 3rd against the Grizzlies. I tried to hold back my emotions because that is one of the best gifts I've ever gotten. Holy crap. Wow. Slow clap for Bryce's fiance. Holy cow. This is great. A Raptor Freak is finally going to get to go to his first ever Raptors game. And he's going to see them in the Naismith Cup because it's going to be the Grizzlies and the Raptors. And that's fantastic. And you know what? It's likely to be a Raptors win because of the state the Grizzlies are in. It's trading Jaren Jackson Jr. recently, and they're kind of all in upheaval and half hurt. So this is fantastic. Bryce gets to see his team in real life, And that's fantastic, man. I'm so happy about this. Bryce, I'm going to give you a dunk. I'm going to give you a dunk for you and your fiance. I'm going to give them both to you, though, for this fantastic news. This is so awesome, Bryce. You're going to go from 6 to 12. You got that Colin Murray-Boyles 12, my guy. And, man, I am so happy for you, man. So April 3rd is no April Fool's Day for Bryce Lawson. He's going to the Raptors game in Memphis. Woo-wee! I love that. I love that. You better give us a firsthand account on the day after when we do our reaction stream that day with the Grizzlies. Raptors at Grizzlies, April the 3rd. Beautiful, man. This is so awesome, Bryce. I'm so happy for you, man. This is the stuff I love, man. Trevor's saying they was making jokes on Brandon's girlfriend that she's set to do a jump ball with Ingram. He was just laughing. Yeah, I mean, look, Glorilla, she did fine. You know, you don't have to have high expectations for celebrities and celebrity games. She made the appearance. She threw her name into the hat as far as she's bringing the star power. That's all you can ask for. She was entertaining to a degree. She showed moxie getting after that ball and tying it up and getting the jump ball. That's her all-star weekend. Nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that at all. Name was saying, fantastic, Bryce. Congratulations, friend. Of course, Mr. Nameless has gone to a lot of Raptors games here in Toronto at the Scotiabank Arena. That's right. Our Italian plumber. That's right. Enjoy, Bryce. That's right. I love this so much, man. So much, man. You get loud for the Raptors. Hopefully your seats are pretty good and you can be somewhat close to the team and the court, and they can hear you. Make sure, Bryce, that you do the defense chants like old Lex would if he was there. All right, you do those defense chants every time the Grizzlies have the ball. Please, sir, do it like I would. That's right. Smooth's here. Good morning, Reggie. Just cancel this stuff going forward. It's an embarrassment to the NBA. Seriously, cancel it. Give the boys time off to rest. Why not? I didn't watch any of it. Happy for that. NBA is mocked because of this nonsense. Yeah. I think in some ways it's indicative of the new online roasting culture that nothing is cool anymore. People online are jaded and they're jerks and they're trolls and they love to pick things apart. I mean, it's part of the fight that we have with Reddit and other places, Facebook, social media, all the dumb shit that people say. Well, in some ways, it's not a healthy ecosystem for something that should be fun and innocent and a little goofy like the All-Star Weekend. People are more critical, negative, talking shit, not accepting, just jaded and jerks. And that's part of the effect of why this gets clowned so much, is because of the new environment of social online opining and people making comments and stuff like that to win everybody over. Adam Silver wants to see the comments say, wow, that was an amazing dunk contest. Wow, I never seen that before. Wow, this is a fun weekend, and Clippers All-Star weekend. He wants to see that shit. No, he's seen all the comments on Twitter and different places saying like, this is garbage. Why did I even watch this? You know, shit like that. That's what I'm saying, Reggie. What if he did change the events a bit, like a Legends game again, a one-on-one tournament, a G League dunk competition, some of the ideas we've had. I still think that he could do this to make it fresh. Maybe the three-point shootout needs to allow WNBA players to compete and enter it, and they play at the same level as the NBA players. But no, in some ways, gatekeeping is important to Adam Silver, whether it's USA versus the world or WNBA versus the NBA. And God forbid a WNBA player wins the three-point shootout against NBA competitors. You know, that gatekeeping is one of the things that scares innovation away. Is innovation could happen. It's on the side of your fear, Adam Silver. So what if Caitlin Clark or Sabrina Ionescu came to the NBA All-Star Weekend and beat the NBA players in a shootout? You probably couldn't have the WNBA players at the All-Star Weekend this year because of the work stoppage. So nobody's under contract. That's part of the reason why we didn't have any WNBA interaction with the NBA All-Star Weekend this year. I'm just saying, man, there's solutions, but they're on the other side of your comfort zone, is what I'll say to you, Adam Silver. Make a world tournament. We brought it up the other day. You could have 2 U.S. teams, but we want a world team and a Canada team or something like that. Maybe we have a Europe team with all the European countries, European All-Stars, a world team with Canada, Australia, Asia, and Africa, and then in South America. And then you have 2 USA teams, East Coast versus West Coast. And that's a 4-team tournament. It's even. You have 2 world teams, 2 USA teams, and you can get the talent from those pools for those teams. There's enough good European players to do this. There's enough good world players to make another team too. And you could have East versus West. And yeah, that would work. I think that format would work for the world versus USA if you did it that way. But alas, no, you can't have half the world stars and half the U.S. stars. You're going to force U.S. stars on the world team and Cat and Norman Powell. Yeah, Siakam's hilarious. Let me go look at the Instagram stories real quick because it's hilarious. First, we got Quez, Fred VanVleet's co-host from Ungarden. He was on the media scrum asking different people questions. And you know what I found out? He asked Norman and Pascal to be on the Unguarded podcast as guests, and they both want to do it. So we should expect these episodes coming out over in the next couple months, hopefully, because Fred will get healthy. He won't do the show anymore after this year. So get Pascal and Norman in, Fred. We need to have these episodes with your former teammates because Fred VanVleet, you would be awesome to hear sitting and kicking with Norman Powell like you did Kevin Durant. Seriously, I want to hear this shit because you guys are such good friends and stuff like that. Yeah, let's see what else we got. Serge Ibaka is still putting out that album single that he just put out recently with his friends. And yeah, he's got it planned. And yeah, he's also put on blast Origin, the story of Basketball Africa League. So he's at some sort of opening for that. Fantastic stuff there. RJ Barrett was at a Puma event, and he was with the great Ralph Sampson, which is crazy. Ralph Sampson, yeah, former Houston Rocket, collegiate legend. Wow, he looks pretty good too. Ralph Sampson with RJ Barrett and Jalen Rose, former Raptor Jalen Rose, and Mac McClung. That's some sort of Puma commercial. So RJ's putting in some commercial work with the legends. Who else was there? Sham God was there too. Yeah, pretty interesting stuff there. We got all the Valentine's posts from yesterday. There's Oshai with Avery in the hot tub, and there's Valley Obaji, Valentine's Day with his girls. Oshai, we miss you, man. Good luck in Brooklyn. Yeah, he's got his Valentine's on blast. Grady with a picture of him and Carla Lessing in some sort of weird art on an alleyway. He's saying his love. So he's like very much showing the Valentine's love, the Raptors players in a lot of places here. There was a really cool thing that the Raptors official men put together for the Raptors coaching staff, coaching the world team. They used the theme song of Family Matters and did the whole intro part with the names like Darko and stuff like that. And it's so funny, man. The Urkel show. Yeah. I love it. I love that y'all did that, Raptors. Admit the Family Matters theme song with the coaching staff. And yeah, that was awesome, man. Really, really good. They reposted it. A bunch of the Raptors coaches, including James Wade and Andrew Jones. Jamal Shedd put his lady on blast yesterday. And his lady is beautiful. Oh my gosh, Jamal. You're kind of out of your league, bro. I'm not gonna lie, man. Jamal Shedd's girlfriend is hot. Holy cow. She's hot. And man, it's so nice to see them. They're somewhere sunny and nice and the sunshine. Wow, Jamal. Wow. They had a new open gym come out yesterday, guys. 10 minutes of open gym with Sandro Mamakelishvili episode centered around his dogs and his partner, Mercedes. Yeah, Mercedes is somebody I met at the Raptors game earlier this year that I went on Brandon Ingram's ticket. She's a really nice person, really, really cool. She played college basketball. She's a hooper herself. And we got an insight into their lives with their dogs. Sandro's got some big dogs. He's got a big dog. Yeah, that isn't fixed. And it is kind of cool to see them walking the dogs in Toronto. And going by where they were walking the dog, I can kind of figure out where Sandro lives. I know Toronto like that. It's kind of crazy. Yeah, I can tell what neighborhood y'all kind of live in because of the alley that you walk your dogs, Mercedes and Sandro. So I won't say which part of town that they're living in. But that's pretty cool that they live in that part of town because it's not like the other players. Some of the other players live outside of the downtown core, but it looks like Mercedes and Sandro are staying right downtown in one of the historic neighborhoods that I used to live in because I kind of recognize the alley that he's walking that dog in. But yeah, it's pretty cool. And he's like going on about how much he loves Mercedes because she's just a great partner. She walks all the dogs by herself. She can walk all 4 of the dogs by herself. It's a great open gym episode. Y'all check it out. You get to see the life of Sandro. He's just an awesome dude, man. He's just an awesome dude, man. AJ Lawson in the elevator with his lady, showing off his lady. Oh, she looks like she's like, wait, you just took a picture of me? Is what are you doing, AJ? It's like, hey, I got to show off that happy Valentine's Day love. There you go. And AJ was sitting in the crowd last night for the All-Star Saturday night. His seats weren't that good, though. He was kind of far up and above, but he was there. You know, it looks a little bit more filled in from AJ Singh, but you can see all the empty seats also. It's crazy, man. They kept it so dark in there to really hide how empty the arena was. SGA showed up in a truffle or something. The Shea Lounge at All-Star Weekend. He had some sort of lounge going on yesterday. Pretty cool. Raptors 905 showing that they gave bracelets to the players for personalized bracelets for Valentine's Day. That's kind of interesting. That's weird. Jamal McGlure showing Scottie arriving to All-Star Weekend. He did the interviews. Scottie did a good job this whole weekend. You know, a lot of love for Darko, talking about Darko and him coaching the world team. And yeah, the bond between Scottie and Darko is really strong, man. The way they talk about it is really, really good. Yeah, very, very interesting stuff. Let's see. There's a picture on Scottie's Instagram stories of him hugging Siakam, reunited, and it's so cool to see the love and the friendship between Pascal and Scottie. It's real, man. That's a real bond, bro. I feel like these guys are even closer now all of a sudden. Maybe because of the All-Star experience and being there together and being around each other. It's like they're peers. You know, I just love that, man. Shamshay is posting, guys. Shamshay posted him and his babe always, and his babe is a basketball. So I don't think Shamshay's got a girlfriend. This is like me and my babe always, and he's got the basketball he's kicking around. That's how Shamshay dealt with his Valentine's Day. What's going on with Ulrich Shamshay? Seriously, fitness to play panel. Let this guy come back. Seriously, this guy's at home with his basketball, and he's talking to it like Tom Hanks on a deserted island. Seriously, let this man come back. He needs it for his mental health. Seriously. He's got another weird thing here too, man. He's got like a conversation that he posted between him and somebody else. And somebody say, don't be like Bruno Fernando. Get a girlfriend, N-word. He said, do you have one too? 3 is the guy said. I spent the day with all 3 of them. I'm going to put this on my story and tag you. I don't support cheating. All Africans must cheat. We are born with it. I'm Chinese then. I think that Shamshay saying he don't cheat and he doesn't want to be a womanizer. So there you go. And he's put this on blast. Who's messaging him this? Seriously, who is the one messaging him this? I wonder who that is. It might actually be I don't know. I don't know who it is. Either way, Shamshay, that's your personal life right there, my guy. Norman Powell showing more all-star fun. There he is in the locker room getting his jersey. There's Siakam posted this thing about him being Jamaican. This is like Siakam saying, I guess Norman's on my team now because he's from Jamaica, man. And Norman's laughing about it because I guess, yeah, it's cool. I mean, but they're going to be on the same team today, coached by our coach, Rajakovic. There they are in the locker room, sharing a smile, man. Passion, man. I love the camaraderie. I wish Kawhi was in the camaraderie of the championship team. He's not. He's not. Norman was very proud of Keshad Johnson for getting the dunk championship. He was right there on the court with him, counseling him and talking to him. I saw him out there with Keshad and Vince Carter at one point. Norman, being supportive of the young guy and helping his Miami Heat teammate get that dunk competition. So yeah, there's that one dunk he did over E40. That may have been the best dunk of the night, guys, because he really did clear E40 completely. A lot of people have been jumping over people in the last few years in dunk competition, and they're like pushing off their back to get up higher. But he absolutely cleared E40. Nothing touched him. And he even did the whole put his hand behind his Karl Malone little stupid thing. And that was probably the best dunk last night. Seriously. The E40 jumped over E40 dunk because it was kind of different. It was kind of different. He put the two things together, the thing behind his head and clearing the guy, because a lot of people don't clear people anymore. Seriously. when Norman was doing the 3-point shootout, the Clippers fans were cheering for him and they were cheering his name, Norman Powell, like they used to when he played for the team. So that was cool to see LA Nation standing up for Norman as a former player there. But yeah, he's really proud of Keshad Johnson. And there he is with Dr. J getting his championship. They're doing these glass trophies with like gold in the middle of them. Yeah, I mean, that's better than the little dinky balls they were giving away for a couple years. They have some substance and they look good in a trophy case, kind of sitting in there. Yeah, let's see what else is going on. Norman's Instagram. There he is with Bella, the mother of his child. And yeah, happy anniversary, my forever Valentine. I love you, is what she said to Norman. Oh, that's so sweet. That is so sweet. Let's see what else. Oh, he's very proud of Dame Lillard too. Of course, Norman was a teammate of Damian Lillard in Portland, so he's very proud of Lillard's win in the 3-point shootout. There were a lot of people rooting for him. Bobby Portis was rooting for him too, even though he was against him. Right? Bobby Portis was actually rooting for him as a former Milwaukee teammate, also. So yeah, Norman's enjoying that experience. Eugenio Marui getting happy birthday wishes to him for his birthday yesterday. There's Siakam talking about Norman on the bus, filming stuff. There's this jersey for the world team coming into the locker room. Man, I hope that we use this team well. Cat is on the world team. He shows up and says hi to Siakam in this clip here. But yeah, I hope that we get a good game. And Wemby, you are the leader, man. You take control of this game and win it for the world team, please. Victor Wembanyama. You're like that, my guy. There's the hug with Scottie on Pascal's Instagram stories too. That's right, man. Yeah, he doesn't have his camera this year. Like Kat was joking with him. It's like, you don't have a secret camera on me, do you? Like you did last year. I love that he's like dapping Dylan Harper in the back, Pascal. And Dylan Harper calls him sir. He's like, yes, sir. Yes, sir. He says it like he means it like as an elder. And he's respecting him. Man, the media scrum. There's a picture Siakam took of all the media scrum people. The people in the media scrum at the All-Star weekend are idiots, honestly. Half the questions they've been asking have been so dumb and annoying. And, well, William Liu and Lindsey Dunn, y'all have been all right. But a lot of the questions that have been asked have been so stupid. So stupid. William Liu asked Darko yesterday, where do you see the Raptors in 2 or 3 years? And what a great question. Because Darko was able to say, we're going to be competing for a championship in the next 2 or 3 years. And he gave him a good chance to get that soundbite. Nobody laughed after he said that. Nobody laughed after he said that. That's right, because it's true. That's right. Of course, Siakam representing the whole continent of Africa and the country of Cameroon. And, well, he was at the Basketball Without Borders stuff and, you know, doing the international NBA All-Star Weekend stuff. Some people say that, you know, they don't think he's deserving. Well, in some ways, he's deserving because he was the best African player in the league this year. You know, in some ways, they want to have representation of that continent. So, you know, Embiid's not there. Siakam. That's what it is right there in some ways. And he deserves it, man. Siakam deserves it, even if he's on the worst team in the East. Just listen to me here. They had all the coaches for the Raptors coming into the locker room with their kids. We see Jim Sand and his son. We see Jama and his son. We see Darko and his son Luca. Yeah, very cool picture with most of the coaching staff there. There's Eric Curry even. There are a lot of people asking questions about Mary Andrade at the All-Star Weekend media scrum, asking Scottie and Darko about Coach Mary and her contribution to the team. We see Jonathan Mobo's driving around in Boynton Beach, Florida on his time off. So he's gone back home. He's riding around in South Florida right now. Lindsey Dunn interviewing Jeremy Lin on her Instagram stories. Of course, Jeremy had that big 8-point shot on Friday night. Yeah, let's see what else we got. Coach Andrew Jones putting on blast Elijah Martin for his Rising Stars performance. Of course, he will be playing this afternoon along with AJ Lawson in the G League tournament. And that will be today at 2 o'clock. So we have 2 events today. We have the All-Star game and we have the G League game with Raptors involved. So, yeah, be ready for that. Yeah, the Jones family's having a blast in LA for this All-Star weekend. They went to Santa Monica Pier. They went on roller coasters, and they're just having a good time there. There's a picture of SGA with Andrew Jones from this weekend. There's SGA There's Mary and Andrew with Giannis, because these guys are a world team and they're the world coaches. So they're getting those pictures in. So yeah, good stuff. Let's see. Slim Duck is somewhere very nice with a pool and blue skies and warm. That's good for Chris. Let's see. Wemby is excited to play for Darko. He's got some good technical insights for us, is what he's saying. So I'm ready. There you go. I like that. I like that. Let's see. Lugetz Dort is doing a tribute to Chris Paul in his retirement. He's a very big fan of Chris and being his teammate in Oklahoma City for a little while. You know what? Maybe Lugetz was one of his kind of people. He's like, this dude works hard, and I respect Lugetz Dort. And Chris Paul is respected by Lugetz. It goes right back the other way. Let's see. Jameson Battle posted a picture of him and his girlfriend for Instagram on Valentine's Day. Maya Jones is her name. I'm guessing she played. There's Mercedes pictures of her and Sandro, them in Paris, them just all over the place in love. They're on a boat yesterday. So they're somewhere warm with the blue sky and the blue water. Very, very cool. I think they're in Turks or something. But yeah, there's some nice pictures of Sandro and Mercedes on their Instagrams this morning. There they are with the dog too. There they are on the boat. Just a charmed, beautiful, amazing life. Amazing life. Yeah, there's Mamu with the post also. They had some goofy Toronto tempo Valentine's yesterday, and they're kind of going over it with the tempo and Teresa Resch. And that's the Instagram stories for yesterday. And it looks like that Rich Paul interview with Fred VanVleet on Unguarded is coming out, man. It's coming out today. So be ready for that drop. I know I'll be watching that because I want to hear what Fred has to talk about with Clutch's Rich Paul, man. This is going to be crazy, man. UC's here. Good morning, UC. Of course, UC's going to Raptors games in the next week or so, too. He's going to be coming to Toronto to see the Raptors play the Spurs and the Thunder. It's going to be awesome. Good morning, Raptors gang. The last All-Star to win the dunk contest was Donovan Mitchell, but he was a rookie. Still don't know how to feel about him using VC's jersey during that contest. That's right. I remember that contest. Donovan did a homage to Vince Carter in that dunk contest. Yeah. Yeah, that's an interesting factoid. I like that. So the last All-Star to win the dunk competition was Donovan Mitchell as a rookie. See, that's the thing. These guys that are coming in for their first appearance in the All-Star game, they're the prime candidates to be in the dunk competition. I mean, there really should be top-level players doing it, not these no-name guys. That's part of the reason why the contest sucks, is because there's no big-level guys involved in it. Now, that's interesting that Mitchell was the last guy. Reggie's saying Darko probably has already been told to play all of his guys on a minutes restriction basis. They won't take it seriously, in my opinion. We'll have to see. You know, Darko's the kind of competitor that in the parameters of limitation, he's going to do his best to maximize the opportunities to make the best outcome for them to win. So there may be some rules like Colin Murray-Boyles can't play really, Team Mello. He's going to come out for 1 minute ceremonially, but he's not going to do nothing. There may be some rules like this. Is Giannis playing or not? Like, I don't think he ever actually got injury replaced, did he? Because he's practicing with them yesterday, but is he even playing for the Bucks right now? I don't even know. I'm not totally sure what Giannis is doing. In some ways, he's important. If he's actually playing for Darko, they have a good chance to win. You know, if Antetokounmpo's playing. I don't know. It's very interesting. We'll have to see. You don't think they'll take it seriously? Well, maybe Nikola and Luka won't, but Wemby and Jamal Murray are saying they're going to take it seriously. So we'll have to see. Yeah, Fiercely saying Druski's actually has some funny skits, but the NBA All-Star platform isn't the right one for him to display his goofiness. I'm a competitive person. Watching comedic and unserious efforts annoy me. Adam Silver needs to consult with a reputable marketing firm and prepare a solid plan for next year. Hopefully people will tune in. Good luck to him. Yeah, maybe some of it is production. Maybe it's just some of it is you're making it too complicated. Maybe you need to make it more simple. Just cut and dry, real simple, you know? And maybe some of the things that come into the whole thing that you care about with the whole thing, maybe some of that needs to go out the window and you need to start new in certain ways. I'm just saying, man, this All-Star weekend is broken and it has not been fixed no matter what you do in some ways. Cool Cat saying, good morning, Raptor Freak Crew. Good morning to the coach, Cool Cat. Always good to see Cool Cat in the chat. Our Raptors champ team going to be all-stars soon, waiting only on OG. Yeah, OG could get it. You know, in some ways, I know New York fans would argue that he's an all-star for sure. For sure. And that's one of the areas where I might line up with them. Yeah, I would have rather seen OG at the All-Star weekend than Cat or Jalen Brunson. That would have been more exciting and fresh and new. In some ways, Jalen Brunson don't seem like he even want to be there. They're kept joking with him after they won the shootout or whatever. That are you even happy to be here? Monica McNutt kind of just like, are you gonna smile, Jalen? He's like, I don't care. Whenever I'm around my dad, I hate myself. Is what he says. Well, your dad works with you, so you must hate yourself all the time. Seriously. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. I love seeing Raptors well represented at All Star this weekend. Yeah. I was saying the other day that this is the most Raptors represented All Star weekend ever. It's too bad it's one of the worst All Star weekends ever, too. It's just Isaac saying this. If this game was about ticket sales, then how could all these lights possibly afford those seats? They must be well connected. Oh my gosh. There's some real craftsmanship in this one. There is. All right. So you can go ahead and get this. You know, those lights won't light up if they're not connected right. And if there's one that's out, they all go out, right, Isaac? Christmas light rules, right? Right. Right. All right. We're going to give Isaac a dunk for major dad joke. And it's only fitting that he gets one of the most important NBA dads number for it 30, Del Curry. That's right. You got 30 dunks now. With that one. That was a dad joke and a half. Oh my gosh. Well connected. Ha 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 ha. Yeah, Name was saying that's exactly right. Kawhi got in his own way. Prime example. Yeah, sometimes people don't know what's best for themselves. Sometimes they don't. They don't. Good games laughing at Isaac. He got that one. He got that one. Cool Cat saying Kawhi's legacy. Hang on. Let me see it. Jumped ahead. Let me make sure I get it. Kawhi's legacy is tied to Raptors championship, and it kills him inwardly that it's his last. I mean, I don't know what he's trying to do to win championships. His best chance to win his next championship was just stay in Toronto, but he's an idiot. He didn't realize that. I mean, seriously, we got to think about the bubble and what happened there in that 7-game series with Boston. Kawhi, if you were there, we win that. You dummy. And who knows how far we get. We could probably beat the Lakers in that finals instead of the Miami Heat getting that chance. But we'll never know. Because you gave up on something when we hadn't failed yet. That's the problem, man. That's why you always come back and run it back after a championship, is because you have to prove that you can possibly repeat. But we'll never know. You didn't give us the proper chance to do that, and that's your fault. And you know what? Your greatest season ever is in that red Raptors jersey over there, and that's just the damn truth. Your best and greatest season in your entire life, Kawhi Leonard, in your whole entire life at any level is going to be when you were a Toronto Raptor. And that's just the damn truth. It's always going to be that, man. Reggie's saying Kawhi is such a low IQ guy, man. So unintelligent. Yeah, it sucks, man. Like, he really plays that stereotype of the dumb jock. He really, really does. And it's sad, man. You know, that's part of why he's so private, is because people will find out just how much of an idiot he is, or just how stupid he is. That's part of the reason why he's so quiet and so like private and withdrawn from public, is because in some ways when he talks, you realize just how dumb he is. Seriously. Kareem's saying, from the stories I hear about Chris Paul over the past couple years have been pretty harsh, but he deserves a somewhat of a farewell tour. Kind of hoping he was going to get a tribute this weekend. No, they're not going to do that. You know, it's kind of funny. The Clippers did post on their social media congratulations and good luck to Chris Paul on his retirement. And it's funny because Clippers fans posted in it, and other fans, you guys are actually giving yourselves really bad karma, circling back to Trevor's words of wisdom. It's like, you guys did this to him, and now you're going to make a post like this. Yeah. You know, the Clippers problems, the C word that's been around them pretty much the whole time I've ever known about the NBA. Well, you think the energy is going to be any better for y'all as far as like the karma of how you treated Chris Paul and how you sent him off with no farewell, and then you're going to have the audacity to post something like a little thing on social media saying, thanks, Chris, happy retirement. Yeah, I don't know. They have time still. Maybe they'll do something for Chris today at the All-Star game. Maybe not. I wouldn't hold your breath on it. Let's just put it that way. I wouldn't hold your breath on that. A tribute for Chris Paul, I wouldn't hold your breath on this, seriously. In some ways, it's like it went really south with him in the Clippers organization before he left. Kareem's saying, let's be honest, LA Clippers wouldn't have this new flashy stadium if it wasn't for him. Actually, they would have been in Vegas by now. You're talking about Kawhi? I don't see this. I think that the Clippers were going to be whoever without, you could say player A, player B, player C. Those don't matter. Those don't matter. In some ways, I'll make the same argument. Vince Carter, a lot of people say he saved the Raptors and he was the one who made Canada into basketball. Somebody was going to do that. It's just Vince got the opportunity and the privilege to do it. I seriously will say this. Sure, Vince did it in an amazing way, Vince Sanity, on a whole other level, but there would have been somebody else that came along and did the same exact thing he did at some point. It could have been McGrady. We would have not had Vince. It could have been McGrady. McGrady could have been Vince Sanity instead of Vince if we didn't make that trade with Antoine Jamison on the draft day. So everybody's saying one particular player is so important for something. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. I don't believe the myth that Vince Carter made the Raptors. I don't believe that. I believe that anybody could have done it in the right position and the right timing. He's just the lucky one who got it. So I would say this. It doesn't matter who the players that are on the Clippers. Steve Ballmer is just an obscenely rich person. It didn't matter if Kawhi was there. It didn't matter if it was James Harden. It didn't matter if it was Paul George. It didn't matter if any of those guys were there. Steve Ballmer just got money. He was going to build that arena and do what he was going to do, even if he had these clowns sitting around in street clothes most of the games. So he's not a factor in this. This shit was going to happen because Steve Ballmer had the money and he was going to do it no matter what. You could put player A, player B, player C. It doesn't matter who the players are. It doesn't matter with any of that. So let's be honest. They were going to build that arena either way because Steve Ballmer's money is independent of who's playing for his team, right? Isaac's saying this: if forcing dunks is the name of the game, then call me an NBA All-Star. Isaac's really trying to throw him down right now for dunks. Yeah, Kareem's saying Bryce's fiance for the win. Meanwhile, my wife tells me she's plotting to kill me in my sleep on Valentine's Day. That sucks, man. That sucks. I know he's trying to be jokey, but I don't like hearing that. Another dunk for Isaac. This guy really tied his shoes up this morning and stretched. Yeah, I guess so. I guess we could say that. Bryce is laughing at Kareem. You guys are awesome. I really appreciate the love you all give. Man, it's awesome, man. I love to see a young Raptors freak getting to fulfill a dream and get to see a game, man. You seriously got to circle back and come through after the game and give us your experience, man. Seriously, you got to give us your experience. Go there and make something special happen. Seriously. Whether it's you cheering for the team in a way that helps them, whether it's just a chance encounter of some sort, whatever it is, Bryce, we want to hear the story. And we want to hear UC's story also when they go too. If Kawhi did a 1+1 deal with the player option with us, he would have found out that Paul George was highly overrated for his 2018-19 season. Paul hasn't been nearly as good since then. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's a grifter. And now he's out for breaking the steroids rule or something like that. Yeah, he's a grifter. I don't know, man. That 1 year what would your life be, Kawhi, if you came back, the Raptors won a second championship? In some ways, that the other thing, the side of it is the NBA office was not wanting him to come back too. You got to understand that in some ways they're like, this is unprecedented. Most of the time, NBA teams would be like, no, you should stay there and try and repeat. But they don't want a Raptors second championship. And they know that it's highly likely. So how much of it was not just Uncle Dennis, but Adam Silver saying, yeah, you should go to the Clippers. We want you to go to the Clippers because we don't want a Toronto Raptors dynasty. We don't want the Raptors to win more than one championship. That would be bad for us in some ways. And we don't like that. So go to Clippers. That's the other aspect of it that we don't talk about enough openly and outwardly is that, the NBA head office wanted him to go to Clippers too. We know this. That's part of it right there. Let's see. Kareem saying NFL is very close to abolishing the Pro Bowl. The NBA has a chance, but they seem to fumble it every time. At least NFL has an excuse. Players are prone to injury. I mean, and in some ways they don't marketed as such a huge extravaganza of like attention. The Pro Bowl is kind of like something that just happens. And it's like, yeah, we're going through the formality of it, but it's like, do they make a big deal out of it like the NBA All-Star weekend is? No, they don't. It's like a game that they have in Hawaii, just in the nice weather, just goofing around, and they don't treat it with any kind of importance. It's just a goofy game. In some ways, it's it's just the part of like playing the game out for getting the recognition of getting the title. You know, you're an NFL Pro Bowler. That's more important than actually playing the game. It's just the statement. It's like, oh, I'm this so and so player, Pro Bowler in the NFL. That means something. You hear something, oh, he's a Pro Bowler. It doesn't matter that he didn't play in the game or that fucking the game's stupid and it's not worth watching, but the prestige of the name means something, right? Being a Pro Bowler, right? Right. Isaac saying, thanks, Kareem. I would throw a lob pass to someone else today, but I don't want to be mistaken for Druski. Man, he's just trying. He's trying too hard right now. You know what? I'll give him one more right now, but it's not really for that one. It's for just trying so hard. 33. All right. You got 33. That's the Antonio Davis, right? You got the Antonio Davis. Let's see. Reggie saying Mac McClung has a shoe deal. He's literally a trick player, a circus dunker. That's what I'm saying. He went from a nobody, a G League player, to being a world famous dunk champion. And that opened doors for him beyond an NBA career. You know, he's still trying to get his NBA career and he's somewhat successful. But, you know, that's what I'm saying. These young guys that maybe are not going to be full fledged NBA players can make a name for themselves from the G League. And maybe the G League dunk competition will show more hunger, more innovation, and more daringness because a lot of this shit is too safe. That's the big problem with the dunk competition. It's too safe and too tired and too seen already, you know? Yeah, Kareem saying that comment from Isaac went over my head. Now that's pretty funny too. All right, I get that because that's what Druski did. He threw a ball over Scottie's head. So you're going to 36. You got 36 dunks, Kareem, for that one. That's right. Let's see. Dunk for Kareem. I got that one already. G saying the banter in this thread is more entertaining than the All-Stars so far. I mean, yeah, I guess with Isaac and Kareem, our two co-dunk champions from last year, they tied. That's right. We had two dunk champions, Jason Kidd and Grant Hill. Yeah, they're dueling right now. In some ways, this is making me think of Neek versus Jordan right now with the dunking going on back and forth here. This is a true dunk competition. I'm glad these guys brought it this weekend better than those guys last night. Isaac Campbell and Kareem Thomas, dunk champions, co-dunk champions. That's right. That's right. Smooth saying there's Clippers fans agreeing with Leonard online. So funny. Have they seen their team lately? Yeah, that's why this is dangerous and stupid because he's putting out bullshit that sullies our team and sullies our championship, and idiots will get behind it and be like, yeah, he's right. They weren't that talented, but they worked hard. Okay. What have the Clippers done ever that matters in the NBA's history? Ever. Nothing. Grieve said this. I was talking about Chris Paul saving that franchise. Fuck Kawhi. Kawhi because of the Kawhi. All right, y'all. Straight good on Canadian goods. Because Kawhi may have said hi, bye. Championship, I'm gone. Okay, but you know what? These veggie Chris by Dare. I've got 3 different bags here. These are like chips, but they're not chips. They're healthy because they have a bunch of vegetables in them. Like it's crazy, man. There's tomatoes and peas and potatoes and beets and carrots and what is that? Chickpeas? Yeah, they take all the vegetables and grind them up and make them into nice crispy chip snack. And these are sea salt flavor ones. And this is all by the company Dare. They do cookies too, right? You know Dare. They're a Canadian company. Here's the sea salt and vinegar. So it's like take the sea salt and just add some vinegar. You get this one. And then I've also got salt and vinegar. So it's like I got sea salt, salt and vinegar, and salt and vinegar. Wait, why is this the same? Salt and vinegar or salt and vinegar? Are these the same chips? It's just in a different color package? Oh my gosh. It does say new look up at the top. So maybe I bought 2 bags of salt and vinegar. It's just one's blue and one's yellow. I don't mind that. I like salt and vinegar. Okay. Made in Canada. That's what's important, y'all, is what's right there, baby. Right there. Made in Canada. So yeah, get your straight goods on Canadian goods. Veggie Crisps by Dare. It's a Canadian snack. And they're made from 7 veggies. They're popped, not fried. They're plant-based. There's no artificial colors, and there's 3 essential nutrients. So not only is you gonna get your munchies, suffice your munchies, but it's a healthier snack than just a regular potato chip because you're getting some of that good vegetables in there too. You get servings of vegetables. So yeah, Veggie Crisps. There you go. All right, let's see if we got a Raptors Redditor of the day. All right, today our Raptors Redditor of the day is Chicken Fried Rice, Please. Thank you, Chicken Fried Rice, Please, for posting Scottie Barnes correcting the American reporter on how to say Toronto properly. This was a nice golden moment in Raptors history. Scottie Barnes getting a question from an American reporter who said the word Toronto crazy, and he corrected her and said, no, it's Toronto. Toronto. He's a real one. If he's doing stuff like that, man, Sky's a real one. You know, some idiot jabroni foreign reporter, he had an accent of some sort. I don't know from where. I'm not going to say anything. And he asked Scottie, are you happy on the Raptors? What? You can ask the franchise player, the circle, the center of all of what the Raptors are building right now, whether he's happy on the Raptors. Oh my gosh. And what does Sky say? I am very happy on the Raptors. Very happy on the Raptors is what he said to that guy. In fact, he kind of frowned at the guy for even questioning whether Scottie is happy playing on the Raptors right now. So I love that. So yeah, correct them well. And Raptors Redditor of the day is you. Chicken Fried Rice, Please. So if somebody's watching me one day, it's like, I'm the Raptors Redditor. I'm the one who posted it. All right. Good. Kudos to you. You're a good Raptors Redditor. UC saying, I'll tell my experience on my 2 games in about a week or so. I've been to Scotiabank several times because of concerts, but this will be my first Raptors game. That's awesome. What shows did you see at Scotiabank Arena, UC? I want to know what shows you've gone to see. And yeah, definitely tell us your experience from going to the games and seeing what you see, because honestly, it's going to be so fun. So fun. You get 2 games too, right in a row. Wemby, SGA, let's go. Let's go to the games. Yeah, that's awesome. Isaac's saying this, Chris Paul never won. I get it. But Steve Ballmer could have at least honored him by planting some trees or some shit. Oh my gosh, Isaac. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I mean, maybe the All-Star weekend would have been more interesting if it had been a trial of Steve Ballmer instead. Like they made a court in the court. A court in the court. A court in the court. What did they put a court on the court? And Adam Silver sat up there with like a fake judge wig on his head, like a fucking colonialist or some shit George Washington would wear. And he sat with a gavel and he said, order the court. We are going to adjudicate a aspiration deal in front of everybody at All-Star Weekend. That would have got ratings, Adam Silver. That would have been crazy. The case against Steve Ballmer. And we'll do it in his own arena on his own All-Star Weekend. Oh, my gosh. That would have been glorious. And you could even had like witnesses take the stand. And it could have been like a weird roast. But it was like a court case where people come up there and Chris Paul would take the stand and talk about his experience with the Clippers. Maybe you dig back and you go get Donald Sterling. Let his sorry ass get up there and say, I should have never lost this team to give it to Steve Ballmer. He's just a crook. Would you rather have a racist or a crook in charge of this team? That would have been an entertaining fucking All-Star weekend. The court case on the court of aspiration, Steve Ballmer and Adam Silver and all this, man, that would have been awesome. Kawhi take the stand, and he stand up there, and he try to say some stupid shit. He probably perjure himself, or he might even incriminate himself. They'll ask him the question. He say, yeah, we did do this. Yeah, I did take this money, and I didn't show up for the commercial because I didn't want to. Oh, shit, he just said all the truth. You guys didn't prep him right. We stupid. We couldn't. He just said what was true. Man, that would have been the winner, Adam Silver. Everything good for the All-Star weekend is on the other side of your comfort zone. Adam Silver, lawyer, corporate lawyer who used to be a big Disney lawyer. All this kind of bullshit. Everything's on the other side of your comfort zone, Adam Silver. I'm telling you right now, man. I'm telling you right now. That's right. That's right. Fiercely saying the Clippers posted a tribute video to CP3 yesterday. His wife posts, goodbye, girl, bye. Goodbye. That's funny, man. Yeah, they did him wrong. They did him dirty. He's not going to get the LeBron farewell tour. Apparently, LeBron didn't do the media day yesterday with the rest of the All-Stars. He's going to have his own special news conference before the All-Star game today. And I don't know, could we be speculating that this dude is like going Chris Paul's way? Is it too soon? They're saying a lot of different things, that LeBron's last year in the Lakers is this year, and that he'll go back and play for the Cavs next year and take a 1 year last reunion, say goodbye to everybody on a Cavs uniform, run around with Cleveland next year. How's that going to work with this James Harden shit? How's that going to work with the Cleveland Cavaliers and Kenny Atkinson and their plans and what they want to do? They have to kowtow and cater to LeBron James because he's LeBron James, and this is the storybook that Adam Silver wants to write? Maybe. That could screw up the Cavs championship window with the core that they have right now. Hey, LeBron's coming in next year, guys. You ain't got no chance, no choice. He's just coming in. It's good for marketing. It's good for the league. It's not good for you guys to win the championship, though. No, it's not. Well, we don't care because in some ways we're going to sell a bunch of stuff about LeBron in his last year. So we could see that, man. We could see that. We'll have to see what happens. If, is LeBron going to announce today that he's retiring at the end of the season and you get the last half of the season with him and Lakers and that's it? Well, he's already passed through Toronto. We ain't going to get to say goodbye to him in that kind of way because, I don't know. In some ways, it's like he's on the hook to play one more year. He is. He is on the hook to play one more year, I think. He is, yeah. Kareem saying, I wish the Adam Silver presser was done after the All-Star weekend. I would love to see him field the questions about this failed weekend. Yeah. He does his State of the Union kind of address yesterday where he kind of answers questions about expansion and whatever's going on with the NBA, the tanking questions. Josh Bloomberg has some solutions for tanking, kind of, on Blue Skies. He's saying, this is Josh Bloomberg on Blue Skies. Because tanking is such a hot button topic these days, here's my solution. There's no solution. You can't fix it as long as there's a lottery system that incentivizes losing. And this system or a variation of it is necessary to maintain competitive balance. It's a catch-22. But this is how I'd curb it. Tanking teams aren't just motivated by a chance at the first pick. Pick floor is also a big factor, i.e. the team with the worst record can't draft lower than 5, etc. Recently, teams that owe a protected pick have been especially egregious in their tanking efforts. My suggestion, eliminate pick floor. Instead of drawing for the top 4 picks, draw for all 14, keep top 4 odds the same, but flatten the rest. The worst teams still have the best chance at a top pick, but nothing's guaranteed. They could end up picking 14th. Tank at your own risk. Yeah, I mean, that sounds good. Maybe you just don't have this system anymore where there's a lottery. Maybe you just, I don't know. There's got to be some sort of way to make this work better. Seriously. I don't know. Either way, Josh Bloomberg with some interesting suggestions right there. He also has this to say about the dunk contest. He says, take all the prize money allocated to the NBA Cup and use it to entice stars back into the dunk contest. If the league isn't taking it seriously, why should anybody else? Either invest in it or open it up to the world's best amateur dunkers. But this ain't it. Yeah, and that's why I say, maybe you guys need to look at the trends, Adam Silver. A one-on-one tournament is popular right now. It's a novel new thing. And if you had a one-on-one tournament with the top NBA players like Kevin Durant versus LeBron James, shit like that, that would be something people would be very into and would get buzz and they watch it. Maybe you need to capitalize on the trick shot phenomena. There's so many internet superstars, not internet superstars, but internet trick shotters. They're shooting trick shots all over the place. Maybe you should have a competition with the trick shotters instead of the dunk competition. because that stuff is impressive. And it doesn't have to be an NBA player. It could be Tristan Jazz. It could be any of these guys who are on online that have some sort of following that do trick shots. Maybe Luka does the trick shot competition as an NBA tie-in because he can do trick shots. I don't know. Read the room. Check out what's innovative and new and fresh in the world of basketball and go towards that direction out of your comfort zone. That's what I'm saying. It's in his comfort zone where he's the problem. Seriously, man. Seriously. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. Where are we here? Isaac's saying Battle of LA Courts, Kawhi versus Jackson Hayes, 1-1. Maybe. No, we want Kawhi versus LeBron, bro. That's the best one right there. Fiercely saying, I have a theory about LeBron possibly coming back to the Cavs. Would coincide with another matchup versus the Raptors, i.e. last LeBronto marketing attempt. Fuck all that. Why do you even bring up that word? That word should be dead. That word should be dead. Mark Jones came up with that word. Fuck that word. We killed it. That word is gone. The Raptors won a championship. In some ways, LeBron is old, and LeBronto is a faded memory. It's not something that we should talk about as Raptors fans or bring up or any kind of like nostalgia. No, that's for our haters. That's for the people that don't like us. I don't have nothing to do with LeBronto or any kind of like bringing that word up. In some ways, it's insulting just to hear as a Toronto man and a man who was born in Toronto, lived in Toronto, and loves his city of Toronto. It's disrespectful, the term, and I just hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. That's right. UC saying, I went to Sabrina Carpenter, Tyler, the Creator. Wow. In 2025. And my first time there was in 2024 for Billie Eilish. About 6 or 7 times I've been at the arena now, so I'm familiar with it. Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, where are your seats, man? I want to know where the seats are because I can tell you how your seats are. Fiercely saying, that's why I quoted it. No respect for the word. Oh, was that somebody who quoted that? I don't know who said that. Whoever said that or whatever that brought up, I don't even know what that is. I don't even understand your comment totally. LeBron coming back to the Cavs would coincide with another matchup with the Raptors. Yeah, I don't know what that's all dead and gone. LeBronto is a phenomenon that will never happen again because honestly, LeBron's not as powerful as he was at that point. The only way that works is if LeBron is absolutely killing us and putting us out of the playoffs every year. And that's not happened since he went to the West Coast. And that's done. That ended in 2019. So, you know, somebody going to say he comes to Toronto and beats us with the Lakers. They call it that. No, it's not the same. It's not the same. It's not the same. Let's see. Infamous is here. Good morning, Infamous. Good to see you, man. Salute, freaks. People have completely missed the point. The All-Star game is not a failure. It's not a failure. Well, we'll have to see what it is today. The format to me is not promising. I think it's too complicated. I think that it's weird and it doesn't make sense to have 3 teams. That's not a good number. That makes it in some ways like a wrestling match. You know, think about the wrestling matches, Infamous, when it's like a triple threat match. That match is always goofy and awkward. A lot of the wrestlers hate the triple threat match because when you're the third guy who's not actually involved in the fighting, you got to lay around like you're hurt and like just waiting there. It's just weird. It's like it doesn't fit. 4, 2, these are the right numbers for matchups. But 3 don't make no sense, Adam Silver. In some ways, that is the problem with the All-Star format for today, is there's 3 teams. And that's not a clean tournament. In fact, what could happen today is that we have each of the 3 teams win a game and there's a 3-way tie. And then how it'll be convoluted to figure out who's going to play in the finals, which of the 2 teams of the 3. So there's all kinds of messes they could get in with this, man. There's all kinds of messes. Yeah. Let's see. Fiercely saying, just pointing out NBA weird strategies. Okay. And UC saying, I'm going to be in section 103 versus OKC and section 102 versus the Spurs. Both are row Bs. Wow, you're really close. You're awesome. You're in good shape. Yeah, you better be loud because they'll be able to hear you. 102, 103. Okay, I think that's over near the family section. That's not far from where the players' families sit because they sit over in 105, I think. Maybe you're more center court, like on the south side of the building. That's awesome. You're gonna be kind of sitting behind Ed Rogers, I think. Ed Rogers the third. You'll be in the 100 level, not on court side, but you'll be in one of those lower level seats because I think B is like A B is they do the seating A B C up close, and then it goes to 1 2 3 at a certain point. Having a B row is a really close row. This could be awesome, man. Yeah. Can you accept the call? I'll explain. Yeah. In some ways, you know what? My rule that I want to make, I think that I've decided is that calls only in the 10 o'clock hour, not from 9:30 to 10. And after 11 o'clock, you're too late because, I'll be getting on the last stretch of the show. I'm at 2 hours right now. I'm 5 minutes over 2 hours. I'll take it today, Infamous. But I think that this is what I'm going to decide. It's just so that we're getting when I'm gonna get close. I want to finish and have about 2 hour shows. It's easier for me to have an hour of call-in time from 10 o'clock to 11 a.m. 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. free to call anytime in that hour. So maybe that's what I'll do, because after I get it to 11, I'm gonna be trying to run it down. And if it's before 10, I'm trying to set it up. So I think that that's how I want to look at it. But we'll do it today, just because you're a long-time caller and Infamous. You want to call me, you can call me right now. We'll do a little bit extra time today. I'm okay with it. Because I do want to understand what you're saying. People have completely missed the point of the All-Star game. It's not a failure. It's not a failure. Okay. I guess explain how you don't see that, but that's fine. Let's see. UC saying, I'm very tempted to use my Kyle Lowry jersey with the game we won our championship with OKC. I don't know about the other game. You're going to wear a Lowry jersey against OKC? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, who knows? Maybe you'll show up to the game and buy a new one just for the game. I know when I went to the game on Brandon's ticket, I went and bought a Brandon City Edition jersey because in some ways I was like, I wanted to appreciate Brandon and his dad for giving me the ticket. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to appreciate that. All right. Infamous 6 coming in hot. All right.
Good morning. Good morning, Lex. I didn't want to. That's why I asked permission before I called.
Oh, I appreciate that.
I know you were wrapping up your show because Nick actually was doing something, so that's why I had to.
Yeah, it's all good, man. It's all good. So I'm very curious. Very curious. I want to hear.
Here's the problem. Here's the problem. The All-Star Weekend is not a failure, and I'll explain. I'll explain with raw numbers. Here's the thing. People got to understand. People from our generation, the NBA All-Star Weekend is not targeted. I will repeat, is not targeted to us.
Yeah, I get that.
According to Adam Silver, this is specific wording. Adam Silver's target demographics is 18 to 34. That's his target demographics.
Sure.
Is 18 to 24. So people complaining about the All-Star game, like, I haven't complained about it because it's not for me. It's not for my target audience. So he's targeting the younger generation with the All-Star game. My second point, the All-Star game is using, the reason why people think it's a failure, because they're using an outdated format to judge viewership. Silver has acknowledged, this is according to him, Silver acknowledged that while traditional TV ratings have faced challenges, the All-Star game is up across other media formats, such as, because most people don't view the All-Star game traditionally. Nobody sits in front of a TV and watches these things. We consume it through social media. We consume it through our phones,
highlights,
computers.
The stupid highlight comment he made. He thinks that everybody just watches the NBA through highlights now. It's like that mentality.
Right. Yes.
Yeah. This doesn't mean this doesn't mean that this is a good All-Star weekend or a successful All-Star weekend. What you're saying, it depends on what you care about. And like, look, I get what you're trying to say, Infamous. But in some ways, this may actually be similar to like music, or where your generations are different. Oh, my music was so much better in the 90s when I was younger, and now music is crap right now. I get all that argument. I get that these stars that are coming and showing up for a celebrity game are people I'm not supposed to know because I'm an old fuddy-duddy. And these people are more, I get all that bullshit, but that doesn't mean that the quality of the weekend or the standards of what it is or has been in the past is being upheld. And that's what I don't give a shit about the money. I don't give a shit about the ratings. I give a shit about the quality of the weekend. I give a shit about whether like, this is the thing. They can put all that crap out there. Is this actually attracting any of these young people in that that age bracket that you brought up? Because I don't see it doing that.
Okay, let me give you raw data then, raw numbers.
I don't want raw data. I don't want any of this crap, because in some ways this is not what I'm looking at this for. It's like, you want to look at it from a money standpoint. Sure, he's successful as fuck, but what my argument is that aspect, and thinking about all that and making this, you've changed this into a soulless corporate shrill advertisement weekend that has absolutely no substance or heart at this point. That is my argument. Because it doesn't. It's tired. It's old. It's boring. Smooth's not watching it, and he's not missing jack shit from not watching it. And I mean, the whole point to me is, like, you should be wanting new fans, right? It's supposed to be an attraction to bring more people.
That's what I was getting to.
I don't see that happening, though. I don't see that happening. Yeah. This is a piece of garbage. What is anybody going to get in the NBA from what they saw yesterday?
Okay. So let me explain. The viewership is down, right? But last year's All-Star game, the viewership was one of the highest. You know why? Because Adam Silver, and I'm not agreeing. Don't get me wrong. I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying, but we got to understand, he's targeting the NBA to a world audience, right? So maybe we don't like it, but guess what? The numbers show the world doesn't look at it the same way we do.
All right.
And that's
all right. The highlight global culture, whatever, he's talking about, this and this. Look, if he was doing that, man, there's all other different ways he should be doing it then. But listen, I don't know the argument. What is your argument in general? Like,
well, last year's All-Star game was the highest since 2011.
Yeah, but it was one of the shittiest All-Star weekends also. It really was.
Because, Lex, you're looking at it from an old fuddy-duddy guy on my lawn kind of view.
No, because you can go into social media spaces, you can hear the general voices, and nobody's saying that these All-Star weekends are good.
Yeah, but you can't judge it by social media, because
yes, you can, because people
will say the same thing about how people judge Raptor fans, or how
no, I get that, but how many people are out there excited about Kashad Johnson today?
But you know what's funny, Lex? I've listened to other people across social media, and there's some people that like the All-Star game. You don't like it, but there's people that do like it. So
no, I'm saying the All-Star weekend. I'm not saying the game. So, okay. I don't know. The game's going to happen today. That's what I meant
to say. My bad.
The All-Star weekend is crap. Like, it's bad, man. I don't understand why you're standing up for it or saying that, like, oh, you guys don't get it.
I talked to younger people, and they liked it.
It may be true because they don't know anything better, and how much better it was before. You know,
my son liked it.
I can get that. I mean, in some ways what you're saying, but also at the same time, this is not quality, man. I'm sorry. And if this is indicative of how everything in entertainment, whether it's music, movies, TV, sports, is going to go down the tubes with just low quality, hollow bullshit, well, that's what it is. And I see that. I see that in the music industry. Music industry is garbage at this point.
Audience. That's what I'm trying to tell you. You're not the audience.
Yeah, but I'm also saying this from the fact of, like, I'm looking at this in a sociology perspective of how we're losing the soul of humanity for AI, for fakeness, for music that is scientifically calculated for binaural beats that aren't actually, has no soul to it, because it's not actually, it's perfected and auto-tuned and all this stuff. It's just indicative of all this shit. And in some ways, you can call me old for it. You can call me old for it, saying it's not for me. Well, I don't like the trends we're going into.
Well, Lex, I'm of your same, you know what's funny? I'm of your same age demographic, and I don't look at it that way because I know it's not targeted to me.
Yeah, but even if this was targeted to the children, I say this is garbage. You should expect better. You should want better.
First of all, the dunk competition. How do you make it better? Every dunk has.
You obviously did not watch the first 2 hours of my show, because I gave a solution for the dunk competition earlier. I did. G League players should be doing the dunk competition. They shouldn't have NBA players doing the dunk competition, because the G League players have nothing to lose. They want to make a name for themselves. They have enough talent and chops. They should come out and just make the G League dunk competition. Forget about the NBA players.
Honestly, I don't even care if they have the dunk competition or not.
Okay, now you're just, in some ways, you're just going all over the place, and just, in some ways, it's like, look, what is the point of your call? If you want the extra minutes and have me in overtime, give me something good, Infamous. Instead of just saying, well, this is the reason why, is because you're old, Lex, and this is not for you.
Lex, I'm giving you raw data. I'm giving you raw information. I'm giving you what Adam Silver has said out your mouth.
I don't give a shit what Adam Silver's saying. I'm an NBA fan that's 50 years old, and I am sick and sad of what the All-Star Weekend's become. And if you're going to have Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, you're going to have Dr. J, you're going to have Dominique Wilkins and all the old stars, and you're going to have longtime NBA fans. In some ways, it's like, yeah, we should be pissed because of where it is. Well, you could talk to Fred VanVleet. You could talk to Jeff Teague. They say the same damn thing, that the All-Star Weekend's fucked up and it's all messed up. And it has nothing to do with age. It has to do with the quality of the events, the way it's organized, the way it's marketed, and all this stuff. You can say, oh, it's so successful because globally there's people in China watching 5-minute clips of it. That's success. That's not success to me. That's shallow, hollow bullshit. Just like a lot of the shit in capitalism that don't mean jack shit. It's just fudged up numbers like the stock market to make people think it's successful when everything's dying inside. Everything's fucking dying inside. The spirit and the soul of the event is dying inside, just like society, from the same shit. That's what I'm talking about. I'm on a whole other level. I'm not talking about financially. I'm talking about society is dying inside because we're going to go into a fake ass world full of hollow shit that has no soul. And in some ways, the NBA All-Star Weekend is symbolic of it. And I feel bad for the children of the future that they won't get to have the same kind of stuff that we had when we were kids, Infamous.
Okay, so Lex, how come the viewership be up if it's dying then?
Because this shit doesn't matter. Because in some ways, look, streaming numbers are not like Nielsen numbers. Some ways they could count a view and somebody looked at it for a half second. It's not the same system that it used to be. And in some ways, once again, the success of the league, if it's financial and that's the only thing they care about, then it deserves to die. Because the money stuff is stupid in the first place. You want quality entertainment. You want stuff that we saw when we were kids, with Michael Jordan, even with just Kobe. And I brought this up earlier, that the All-Star Weekend died with Kobe Bryant's retirement from the game. That it doesn't matter anymore. None of it matters anymore because Kobe brought something that mattered. And he brought us quality assurance. It's like Kobe is somebody who's going to give a shit at the end of the All-Star game. And he's going to go off and he's going to try and win it because he actually cares. But LeBron and Kevin didn't give a shit about this. In some ways, Steph didn't care about this enough. And they didn't take that baton from Kobe Bryant. Man, I'm going over shit that I talked about an hour ago. I feel like you tuned in late. You didn't listen to half of what I said today. And
Lex, one thing, sorry to interrupt. But those figures that I gave you are from the Nielsen ratings.
Well, however they're doing it today, in some ways, this is the stuff. First of all, you're talking about stuff that don't matter to me, okay?
Okay.
And in some ways, I don't care about the NBA as a business. I care about the NBA as a quality athletic competition that should be fair and entertaining. That's all I give a shit about.
Okay.
I don't give a shit if it's successful to kids. I don't give a shit if it's successful globally. I give a shit about being entertained by watching it. It's the same tired, stale ass shit. Did you watch the whole thing yesterday, Infamous?
Yes, I did. Yes,
okay.
I did.
Did you see anything that made you go, wow? Did you see anything that made you feel like this is something new that I've never seen?
I love the 3-point competition.
Yeah, but was that any different than the 3-point shootout that we've seen in the past in any kind of place?
Why does it have to be different? It was entertaining, sir.
Because in some ways, that's not the job for the 3-point shootout. And that's your only example. That's the same 3-point shootout we see every year. I'm trying to talk about where's the novelness. In some ways, I'm kind of pissed off because you're holding me up. You got me 20 minutes later than my call. And this, in some ways, this call wasn't necessary. You could have just made this a comment. You could have made this a comment.
Fair enough. You're not listening to what I'm saying. I'm giving you.
Well, in some ways, it's like what do you want? What do you fucking want from me, Infamous? What do you want from me?
I'm not wanting anything, Les. I'm giving you raw information. I'm giving you.
Well, I don't give a shit. This weekend, you can say this weekend's successful because your son liked it, but I don't think this is a successful All-Star weekend. And that's my right to my opinion, right?
And you're entitled to.
Right. And in some ways, Adam Silver, like I've said, he's ruining the league of David Stern. And that's just the damn truth. And he can say, oh, I'm taking it into a new age, a new era. Well, that's the same thing these AI tech moguls are going to fucking say when they take us into a fucking horrible world we're going into next. It's the same mentality. We're going into the new era. It's just going to be the new way and stuff like this.
I love you, Lex. Have a good day.
Yeah, you too. I love you too, Infamous. I'm just saying, man, in some ways it's like, look, you can think this is a successful weekend, whatever. If you're with the capitalists and you just worry about corporate this and corporate that, go ahead. Successful weekend for Ruffles. Successful weekend for Ruffles. It's not a successful weekend for the NBA, honestly, because it's just showing the same tired ass problems are still there. And the innovation and the ideas are on the other side of Adam Silver's comfort zone, and he won't go there. If he does, I'll be like, wow, he did do something that's a little bit risky, because that's where the cool shit happens, where you get risky. It's too safe. This whole weekend is too safe. And like I said, if the Team World wins today, that's not totally safe. Adam Silver, I dare you, rig it so Darko wins. That may actually make things really exciting and make this All-Star weekend actually something to talk about. Because that's a storyline. If you could learn anything from Vince McMahon, you need something exciting and new that gets people talking. If the USA just beats the world today, well, this is bullshit that you just push that narrative. That's boring. If the world wins today, people will be talking about that shit tomorrow. That's the truth. That's the truth right there. All right, Seymour's calling in now too, and I just want to hear this. Seymour, I don't know if I can go 4 quarters, but yeah, we got extra overtime all of a sudden now here. So go ahead. How are you today, sir?
Definitely not no 4 quarters, but just to go in on what you were saying, right? What if they was to do voting for the dunk and the 3-point, like just change it up a little bit? Because I didn't like the dunk competition. That was horrible. I'm not gonna lie. The one guy who won it, he could dunk. He was pretty good, but some of the dunks that were really bland. And I agree with you. I think it was they got to do better. They got to change it up. And at the same time, too, I guess Stargate has a right to say what he said.
It's infamous.
Yeah, he has a like. I get what he's saying, like, because for the kids, that's theirs. That's theirs. That's something that they can see. You know what? That was theirs. And for you,
weren't those dunks though? Like those are the same kind of dunks we could see in an NBA warm-up line before a game.
Yeah, it was horrible. It was horrible. Product was not good. But of course, the youngins are going to say that they liked it because that's theirs. That's all they know. Right.
And it's new. And that, I guess that's where the problem is. It's like, man, we know that things could be so much better. And we could say this in general about society. Man, it was so much different when we were younger, man. You guys don't even understand. Before there was cell phones, before there was internet, we had bikes and we had CB radios and we rode around in the neighborhood and we called each other. It's like, yeah, I'm down the street at the candy store. What's going on down there? You know, shit like that. Kids don't have that shit now. If they do, they're cool. If they do, they're cool.
Yeah, they're gonna like it because that's theirs, right? That's all they know.
Yeah, and I mean, I get that, and that may have been Infamous's point and stuff like that. But I think that in general, I think that most people don't think the All-Star weekends are successful.
Nah, they're not. They've been bland and watered down. It's just getting worse. They just got to switch it up somehow.
The players themselves think this. Like the people in the NBA think that, man, this weekend is just kind of, you know.
Yeah, I seen it from once. I seen Jackson Hayes' name go up in there. I said, "What the heck is going on?" Like, bro, but yeah, they got to just switch it up somehow. Do a voting poll for the dunk and the 3-point competition. But then
you mean like voting who will be in it or who wins it?
Who would be in it? Who would be in it?
Yeah, but how do they arrange that? How do they get these guys to be okay with it? Do you have a pool of arranged guys that would do it, and then you vote, and then because what if you put John Morant and they say, John Morant, you're doing it? He's like, no, man, I'm not doing this shit just because the voters.
Yeah, that's the problem. And I think maybe you got to put an incentive behind it. Everybody does something behind incentives.
Well, that's what Lewinberg's saying. Forget about giving so much money to people at the NBA Cup. Put that money into the dunk competition. But even in the history, we've seen the story about Vince, Tracy, and Kobe and LeBron, and then none of them would do it. Even with that $1 million each, they were going to get paid to do it. None of them would do it because they knew they were going to lose to Vince. And Vince said, I'll do it. But the rest of them, they didn't want to do it. They didn't want to do it. So it's like, that's what I'm saying. Forget about the NBA guys. The G League guys are the guys, and they have enough talent to do a good dunk competition. They really do. And they could, and they, like I said, they'd be ballsy enough to try shit that nobody else has ever tried. Because what do they have to lose? Either they fail and they get known for that and to a degree, or they hit it big and all of a sudden they're like Mac McClung,
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that was my big solution for the dunk competition is just make it a G League dunk competition at this point. And then maybe you don't even need to have you should have the G League All-Star game still, but yeah. But yeah, Seymour, anything else real quick? I do want to wrap it up, maybe get done.
Other than that, they gotta flip it up. They gotta do a little bit better with it for sure. They gotta do a little bit better with it. But all in all, everyone have a safe weekend, man. Cheer.
Yeah. All right, real quick. All right, let me read the last couple comments. No disrespect to Infamous. I in some ways I get it. He wants to make the argument that it is being successful, and maybe that's what they care about, and that's all that matters. If Adam Silver's happy with his weekend and the way that it went with all that, you know what? Good for him. Good for him. In some ways, it's just like Druski's pass. It's going right over my head, I guess. It's going right over my head. It's crazy, man. Yeah, let's see. Blackhawks saying 3-point contest was good for me, but the dunk contest, yeah. Seymour saying Kawhi saying our chip team thought they were better than they actually were was an insult. Don't let the chips get to your head. I totally with that. We overglazed him to keep him in his head blew up. Yeah. Neil saying sales is the only accurate predictor of success in the media world. Why? Because the Nielsen ratings can cover social media, and social media is fragmented. The cable companies had decades to build their analytics for monitoring viewers and tailoring commercials to them. Social media is to video what pirate radio is to radio. Interesting. Wild, Wild West. That's why I'm saying, just like any stats, I don't trust this new world of how they figure out how much. Is just engagement. Is it just that somebody scrolled through and they saw a clip, but they didn't actually stop? How much did they actually watch it? They keep all these stats on YouTube for my channel and stuff like that. I'm sure they keep stats on all this stuff. Either way, it seems hollow. And I mean, where's the success in having a half-empty arena all weekend? Seriously, there's something wrong with that too. There's something wrong with that. Let's see. Seymour's laughing. Neil saying 3-point shootout is supposed to be about who is the best shooter. You don't have to change that format. I agree with that. But dunk contest is about creativity, and that's hard to do. Yeah, my innovation for the 3-point shootout is to let the WNBA be in there equally and compete to win it too. That's an innovation right there. But gatekeeping Adam Silver, be scared if one of the ladies actually won the competition. What would that say about the NBA and the WNBA? Some of this is misogyny and patriarchy, as far as a woman beats a man in a 3-point shootout. Oh my gosh, God forbid. But honestly, that would be water cooler talk. That would make people excited. That would make people talk about this shit. If a WNBA player was involved in the 3-point shootout and actually won it, maybe they're not involved. They're not able to win it right way. See, because they couldn't even do this. And the thing they did with Steph and Sabrina, they had to have a separate just showcase exhibition, just the two of them. No, you should have the nuts to put her in the competition. And maybe they don't win for a long time. Maybe the WNBA players are involved in the NBA shootout, but they don't actually win for a while. But then someday they do. And then people are talking about it. In some ways, it's like holding people down. It's gatekeeping. It's like, no, we can't have a storyline where a woman beats a man. Oh my God. Oh my God. Because there's still a lot of male chauvinism in this world. In fact, you guys know about Project 2025. Well, we've seen a lot of it enacted last year. Well, the same people that brought you Project 2025 have a 250-year plan for degrading women to being back barefoot and pregnant in the kitchen and taking away all their voting rights and all of their gains in women's suffrage and women's rights over the years. They do have a real plan for this in the next 250 years. So you go ahead and tell me how there isn't problems with misogyny, patriarchy, and holding down the female gender still. Still there. In fact, it's worse. And the people in charge have some major ideas for it. And that's why the people got to rise up and kick their asses out, because we are going back. That's why Kamala kept saying that year. We do not want to go back because these motherfuckers are trying to take us back and take all the rights of not just women. Think about all the different people are going to try and take voting rights from and different things from soon. So that's what I'm saying, y'all. Progress is not necessarily progress right now. And if they really want to progress, they let the women be in the three-point shootout. It's symbolic in some ways. Let's just put it that way. Fiercely saying, I understand Infamous's point in intervention. NBA targets a different audience. I also agree with Lex, the quality delivered. Everyone entitled their opinion. I think in some ways we're talking about apples and oranges. I'm never very much financially minded. I don't give a shit about money. I think money is the root of all evil. I think that people that brag about having a lot of money or think that they're successful just because they have a lot of money, in some ways you are not, because in some ways you probably have some deficiencies in other areas to get to what you got to, whether it's whatever it is. So, in some ways that whole measuring stick is not something that I value. And in some ways, if that's something that makes them way more successful, well, in some ways that's sad to me, because it's a shoddy product, a low quality product that's selling. Oh, that sucks. That's, to me, if that's good economics to Adam Silver, to me, that's just sad to me. That's the way I look at it right there. And Neil's saying All Stars is about promoting the players. I don't care how they do it. What makes these players special and can get the fans to meet and greets. Yeah, I mean, yeah, sure. I mean, I can get behind some of what you're saying there. The dunk should show what makes you extraordinary, what makes you freak on the rim. Yeah. Neil's got more here. The NBA can't even control their content. You got pirate sites in Asia pushing out NBA content, and Silver can't track it. Yeah, I mean, what is the point? Like, I don't like the whole idea that he wants this to become a highlight league. Like, what the fuck is that, man? Talk about having more casuals and nephews coming up. If the way it's marketed is people are only going to watch like a 30-second clip of each game and that's it, or they're just going to watch NBA.com for all the highlights after the game and that's all they see. There's so much nuance and there's so much important to a whole entire NBA game that if that's what Adam Silver's envisioning, that he's going to chop the length of things because of the short attention span of young people, man, this whole world's going to hell in a handbasket then. Seriously, because like, what is your motive in that? Why wouldn't you want? Anyway, maybe I am just getting too old, honestly. In some ways, I want to finish the stream up really soon. Infamous is saying All-Star games across all major sports is down in general, but for some reason the NBA is always the target. Shaking my head. No, I talked about this also. You're obviously not watching most of my show. You obviously aren't, Infamous. It's like you're showing up later and coming in. That's why I said I don't want to talk about the same things over again in your last call. Is because I went over this. I talked about how the NBA is getting unfairly pointed out about their All-Star weekend over the NFL and the MLB. And I agree with what you're saying here. But I went over this phenomena and why. It's because the NFL game happens after the season and it's an afterthought and it's not marketed as crazy as the NBA All-Star weekend is in the middle of the season where everything stops and goes around it. The NHL just doesn't have the audience and nobody gives a fuck. The MLB is having similar problems with their All-Star game. See, I feel like a tired, broken record. I said all this shit already. I said this like 2 days ago, I think. It was either on Friday or Saturday I said all this. But yeah, I agree with what you're saying. The NBA unfairly is getting more criticism than the leagues. But, in some ways, they put this thing as such a crown jewel and such an over-advertised event. It's not the same in some ways as the other ones. The Pro Bowl's not getting the same kind of push. The NHL just doesn't have the audience. And the MLB's All-Star Weekend may be the most similar, but in some ways, they don't have the whole long thing of it. What they have the home run derby on one night in the game, and it's like a 2-day thing or something like that. It's not a whole big, huge weekend event of a whole bunch of stuff. I think that's the difference there. Neil saying, as the viewer, I have to be able to say, wow, when the dunking is amazing. That didn't happen last night. Yeah. It's just like it, and it looks trashy when they miss so much, and they're easy dunks. That's the other thing, man. They tried to attempt certain dunks that other people pulled off easily on the first attempt in other years, and they couldn't even get those easier dunks, and they end up doing even easier dunks just to make it up at the end of the timer. Yeah, some of it is the guys aren't the right guys to be in the dunk competition. Seriously, they don't take it seriously. Jackson Hayes did not take this thing seriously at all. You could tell by the way he approached it. You could tell. Isaac saying, I think a mascot game would be a good idea for all the NBA fans, kids and adults, not including Jackson Hayes. Yeah, I love that idea. See, that's what I'm saying. These are new ideas. These are new events. These are new, totally new things. And these would probably get people to talk about it. What do you want? Water cooler talk? Well, they had an NBA mascot game. They had the legends come out and play. I actually got to see Magic play again just for a second. What happened to a legends celebrity game instead of just the celebrity game? You have a couple legends in that game. Why not get more of the NBA alumni guys that really want to come out there? Steve Nash should come out there. Dirk Nowitzki. Get all the guys who are on Peacock and play them against all the guys that are on Amazon. Yeah. Have a Amazon versus NBC matchup. Vince and Tracy and Carmelo and all those guys come out there and do. And yeah, that would be fun, wouldn't it? They don't have to be serious. They could goof around. The nostalgia, and they have an excuse for not playing at a high level. It'd just be nice and reminiscent to see the past. But no, I guess I'm an old person. I'm not marketed towards, because they used to do Legends games around All-Star weekends. That seems like that could be a very easy uptick and kind of getting people to talk about it, right? Neil saying, I did think Booker was going to win the 3-point contest because I thought Dame would be rusty. Boy, was I wrong. Man, he choked. Booker could have won it, but he choked. Invis saying, Blackhawk, the dunks back in the 80s, if done today, would say is garbage based off the athleticism of today's players. Yeah, see, I don't get that. That's not true. I think that you're wrong on that one, Infamous. I think the electricity and the way they did this, man, the whole myth and the mythology of Michael Jordan, this is something totally different. You're denigrating something. You got to be crazy, man. Some of those dunks that Michael did and some of those things, you just say that, but you're wrong. You are wrong. If this was fresh and nobody had ever seen it before and Michael did exactly what he did then, now, oh my gosh, man. Oh my gosh, he would be fine. Trust me. Spud Webb, oh my gosh. If you brought Spud Webb out there and did today's dunk contest, he would win it. Just like Mac McClung. Some people would say, oh, he's so little. I'm just saying, man. That shit is timeless. And that shit had energy to it. And that shit had meaning to it. This shit doesn't anymore. It doesn't. Neil's saying, no, we wouldn't. The problem is that today's players, if today's players look extraordinary, today's players look average. Therefore, the players would stand out today. 80s Skywalker. I don't know. Either way, I feel like I've been on way too long now. I don't like getting dragged out in some ways. Let's see. Is there breaking news real quick? No breaking news. Let's do the classic card. There's no birthdays today. No birthdays today. All right, let's get the classic card and let's get out, man. I feel like I've been here too long. Let's see. Yeah, I was getting ready to wrap up. All right, here we go. Classic card of the day. Not so classic, fairly recent, but let's see if you guys know who this is. I just grabbed the first card that I found, and let's see if we can get this. I guess it's a world player. That's right. Nicholas Batum is right. It's like DZ getting the classic card, king of the classic card. Nicholas Batum in a Charlotte Hornets jersey. I'll give you 100 for this one. I feel like he's not a totally easy card, but he's not that totally hard either. Nicholas Batum. And it's Slugged Easy for the second day in a row. And we'll give you 100. 100 points for Nicholas Batum classic card. All right, y'all. Thanks for watching me today. Reaction to Saturday night. Whether it's a successful night financially, it's still a piece of shit. as an entertainment product. And even if it's not geared towards me, it's like, well, I don't get it. I don't get it. I just don't. In some ways, the shooting challenge was totally rigged and kind of stupid. The 3-point shootout was somewhat exciting. Devin Booker choked. And then the dunk competition, what the fuck was that? These guys are just not taking it seriously. Like Lewinberg said, they're not preparing, trying to even come up with innovative dunks. They're just doing stuff like, I mean, anything. I guess they didn't want to have any props, which is good. Like I said, the best dunk was the one over E40, and the guy who did it won. So that makes sense. Today, we have the G League game, and that'll be Elijah Martin and AJ Lawson in the afternoon, coming up in about 2 hours. And then the All-Star game after that with Scottie Barnes on Team Stars, Brandon Ingram on Team Stripes, and Darko coaching Team World. And, well, guess what, Raptors? We can't lose because we're going to have a winner at the end of the day either way. One of these guys is going to win, whether it's Ingram, Barnes, or Darko. And, of course, we're rooting for Team World and Coach Rajakovic, but we do want to see Scottie do well. We want to see Brandon do well also. And, well, as I say, I'm jaded. I'm old. I'm a fuddy-duddy. It's not for me. I could see the NBA. I'll make a prediction, making the USA Stripes team win just for LeBron, hurrah, with Kevin Durant and all the rest of them. And, yeah, that I'll predict it right now. That's how tired this whole format is and how predictable it is. If the USA Stripes team wins today, that's the storyline. Because I can see right through it and see it right there. That's right. Thank you, Isaac, for the 5-man lineup. And UC saying, good game. Yep. And Neil's saying, one day a player is going to injure himself trying to give us an amazing dunk. It comes with risk. That's happened. There has been dunk competitions where people actually got hurt. Stargate saying they even fucked up the world team makeup. I know. Add in Kat and Norman. You know, we love you, Norman, but you're American. It's just weird, man. Isaac's saying they better have WNBA players next year. Well, if they're not on strike, that's the thing. The WNBA did not show up at all because they're on strike still. And this is insane. It's the All-Star weekend and the Tempo don't have players still. And that's messed up. We need players as soon as possible. Stargate saying they have American players on the world team now. It's a shit show. Yeah, it's just a garbage product. The All-Star weekend is just garbage. We gave you some solutions, Adam Silver. The ball's in your court. All right, y'all. Have a great day. I'll be back tomorrow to react to the All-Star Sunday. And, well, maybe I'll be in a better mood tomorrow about it. I don't know. Maybe I'll be like, wow, that was cool. Maybe I'll probably be like, yeah, that stunk like a turd, like the other 2 days of this weekend. Yeah, Steve Ballmer deserves this. Let's just put it that way. All right, y'all. Let's go Raptors.